Chapter 76. The Wani Angel is a creature that feeds on sound waves. The food just now, that is, Phil Coulson, has been completely killed by him. The intense neuropathic pain venom directly destroyed every cell in Phil Coulson's body from the inside out. In the end, Phil Coulson died of severe pain and loss of strength. It can be said to be one of the most miserable and painful ways to die, especially the pain that should have knocked him out in an instant, but because of the special substance injected into him by Wani Angel, he remained awake and continued to constantly feel the severe pain enough to make a normal person die of pain, until the potential of the body is exhausted and the body completely collapses. After losing food, Wani Angel naturally needs to find more food. Now New York can be said to be the noisiest place in this area because of the war with Chitauri, so it naturally attracted Wani Angel. The appearance of Wani Angel can be said to have ignited all the anger of Avengers immediately. Whether it's Captain America or Tony, or even Thor, there is no one who is not angry with Wani Angel. Because Wani Angel captured Phil Coulson in front of them. And now only Wani Angel appears here, which also shows one thing. Phil Coulson is dead. Phil Coulson died at the hands of this monster. Thinking of this, their hearts were filled with anger. Especially Thor. As the Nordic Thor and god of war, Thor has never seen such a creature as Angel, ignoring his attack and killing one of his companions in front of him, but he was powerless against him. As long as he thinks of these, the proud Thor will feel a cloud of anger burning in his heart. Damn monster. You've d me off. Thor raised his Mjolnir aloft and let out a roar. And following his roar, a thunderclap suddenly resounded in the sky. The deafening thunder fell on Thor's Mjolnir along with thunderbolts, and countless arcs wrapped around Mjolnir, making a crackling sound. At this moment, Thor standing in the air can be regarded as truly showing his power as a god. The faint blue light of thunder flickered in his eyes, and the strong wind accompanied the thunder around him. At this time, Thor no longer had the simplicity and honesty before, and it could even be said that he was stupid. Only his majesty and strength as a god, and his powerful divine power demonstrate the strength of Thor. At this moment, even Loki, who dislikes Thor anyway and thinks that as long as Thor dies, he can justifiably become the king of Asgard, has to admit it. Thor really deserves to be the son of Odin. He perfectly inherited the terrifying power of Odin. The terrifying thunder that can destroy everything is completely as docile as a cat in Thor's hands at this moment. Thor, a fool, only looks like a god when he is angry. Looking at Thor at this moment, Loki still disdains Thor, but it is rare to recognize some Thor. But then Loki added, "And I will always be the most perfect god." Wani Angel also felt Thor's hostility at this moment, as well as that powerful force. Wan Wing's Angel knew that this was a very dangerous force, so he pointed his face at Thor. Layer after layer of wings overlapped, protecting the inner core, that humanoid existence. And feel the existence of the terrifying power of Thor, not only the Angel of 10,000 wings, but also the army of Chitauri. They don't know who Thor is trying to attack, but they were sure that this blow would be terrifying. So they all gave up their goals at this time and rushed towards Thor together. They want to defeat Thor before Thor unleashes this terrifying attack and avoid being attacked by Thor. A large number of Chitauri soldiers turned their guns, and a series of ultra-high-temperature lasers shot at Thor, but none of them could get close to you. Because when these light beams approach Thor, they will be blocked by the thunder in the air, and they will not be able to hit Thor at all. But Chitauri was not discouraged. They drove the sky behemoth and continued to rush towards Thor. Several giant sky beasts grew their own mouths, revealing sharp teeth that shone with a cold glow. This kind of monster is even bigger than the aircraft carrier, and wants to swallow Thor, so as to prevent Thor from continuing to use such a powerful attack. However, looking at the giant sky beasts that had already rushed in front of him, and their huge mouths, Jean didn't move at all. He just watched all this quietly, and concentrated all his energy on Wani Angel. He has only one goal at the moment, and that is to kill Wani Angel. He must kill this monster, prove his strength, and wash away his shame. Boom! Accompanied by a loud noise, Thor was swallowed by the mouth of the sky behemoth rushing to the front. Even Loki looked puzzled as the sky monster's jaws closed, because he never thought that Thor would actually be swallowed. Originally, he thought that Thor would throw the Mjolnir in his hand before being swallowed, and directly crush the sky behemoth to death. As a brother who has been with Thor for many years, Loki knows that Thor also has this strength. But Loki didn't expect that Twill was actually swallowed like this. That's how he... When Loki was about to say that Thor was killed like this, The sky monster that swallowed Thor suddenly showed a painful appearance and was still struggling constantly. It looked extremely painful, and at the same time, a large amount of lightning shrouded the whole body of the sky behemoth, and those Chitauri soldiers riding on the back of the sky behemoth exploded to death because they couldn't bear such a strong voltage. Seeing this scene, several sky behemoths nearby and the Chitauri soldiers on their backs also immediately focused their attention here, ready to fire at any time. The next moment, a strong thunderbolt directly blasted the sky giant into pieces, and the huge amounts of Lei Guang also swallowed the Chitauri around them at the same time. With a terrifying thunder, a hammer pierced the sky and rushed towards Wani Angel. All the enemies blocking the way were wiped out in an instant, and only the Mjolnir was left to attack Wani Angel angrily. Everyone knew that Thor must be very angry at this moment. However, he never expected that he would be so angry and powerful. This attack directly blasted and killed the entire Chitauri fleet, Master Tinsong Tianshan beasts, and the Katadwan soldiers on them together. And the powerful destructive power continued. Mjolnir roared and rushed towards the 10,000 Wings Angel, as if to tear the 10,000 Wings Angel to pieces, and rushed over with Thor's anger and strength. Looking at the rushing Mjolnir, Wani Angel folded all her wings together, intertwined layer upon layer, to protect herself. Each wing is a shield, and these shields overlap to form an indestructible protection that protects Wani Angel in it. As soon as Mjolnir came into contact with these wings, the intense lightning burst out and directly penetrated hundreds of wings. But then Mjolnir's speed dropped somewhat, not as fast as before. Although Mjolnir is still destroying the wings of Wani Angel and is constantly close to the core of Wani Angel. But at the same time, the wings of Wani Angel are also constantly reborn, becoming a new shield to guard in front of him. One attack and one defense, both sides are doing their best. As the wings were broken, Mjolnir seemed to be getting closer to the core of Wani Angel. But also the force attached to Mjolnir is getting smaller and smaller. Boom! When Mjolnir attacked a wing that was very close to the core of the 10,000 Wings Angel, he suddenly lost all his power, and then a ball of lightning burst out, swallowing the entire 10,000 Wings Angel and everything around it. And looking at this scene, Thor finally couldn't hold on, and fell down without strength. Fortunately, Tony was nearby, so he immediately flew over to catch Thor. "Did you make it?" Thor put a hand on Tony's shoulder and spoke out of breath. Because the blow just now had completely drained his strength, even an ordinary Chitauri soldier could kill him now. But even so, Thor still fixed his eyes firmly on the place where Wani Angel was. This is the first time Thor has felt shame, so he must wash away this shame. At this moment, Mjolnir suddenly flew out of the ball lightning and returned to Thor's hand. The ball lightning also slowly disappeared in place, and a pungent burnt smell spread out, making everyone frown. But no one cares about these. Everyone at the moment only cares about one thing. Is that monster dead? Under such a powerful attack, that monster should already be dead, right? Most people hope so. After all, if even Thor's full blow can't kill the monster, then these people really don't know that they should fight against such a terrifying existence. However, after the spherical lightning disappeared, revealing the angel with thousands of wings inside, everyone felt a trace of fear and disbelief. Because Wani Angel is not dead, even though the wings on Wani Angel's body have been destroyed at this moment, only a dozen pieces are left, and even people can directly see the core of Wani Angel, which emits a little white light. Clear-looking humanoid creature. Those wings grow from his back, just like the legendary angel. But people have never seen an angel that can grow so many wings. Even those big angels in myths and legends only have 6 wings. But this strange monster in front of them has so many wings. It is unimaginable. What kind of monster is this guy? Although Tony never believed in any gods, he couldn't help but let out a strange cry when he saw this scene. Because that's a little too weird, right? Why is this monster so similar to the legendary angel? And it has too many wings, right? Even the woman I've slept with doesn't have as many wings as him, right? Wani Angel didn't care about Thor's injuries to him, and didn't even look at Thor, but instead focused on Chitauri, who was still yelling and attacking him constantly. Although the current Wani Angel's wings are still constantly being regenerated, these all require energy. But now Wani Angel doesn't have enough energy to supply himself. Just resisting Thor's attack, Wani Angel has almost exhausted his own energy, so he needs to eat now. Soon Wani Angel appeared on the back of a giant sky beast, and the surrounding Chitauri soldiers immediately turned to Wani Winged Angel launched the attack. The ultra-high temperature laser fell on Wani Angel's wings, leaving a large area of burnt marks, accompanied by a pungent burnt smell. But Wani Angel was not there, so he directly withstood the attacks of these Chitauri and pulled a Chitauri into his wings. These seemingly soft feathers are actually extremely sharp at the tip. Even the battle armor on these Chitauri can't resist, and they were easily scratched, and then the feathers insert them into their bodies and inject them with venom that can cause severe pain. Immediately, a creepy scream came out. Just listening to this voice has already made many people feel fear from the bottom of their hearts. They always feel that they are not a normal creature in front of them, but a terrible creature. Sin becomes normal under this kind of screams from the good king. The surrounding Chitauri also opened their mouths and roared constantly, as if they wanted to frighten Wani Angel. But whether it can deter Wani Angel is not clear, but it is certain to attract Wani Angel. Wani Angel, who originally wanted to obtain energy through sound waves, rushed up immediately after hearing Chitauri's roar, and sent several Chitauri back to him in an instant. Caught. And just like before, the venom was injected into their bodies. Feeling the severe pain that has surpassed the limit of endurance, even these aliens all let out miserable cries. It was precisely because of this cry that Wani Angel's lost strength was replenished, and the wings on his body were growing rapidly. Almost in the blink of an eye, he was already hundreds of wings have grown, and they are still growing constantly. The feather ball that took all Thor's strength to destroy appeared again, and it was still constantly expanding, preying on all objects that could make sound. Seeing this scene, both sides of the war fell into deep fear. Whether it is human beings or Chitauri, they are at least flesh and blood. They will also be injured and die, and they will also be afraid of powerful opponents. But this monster full of wings seems to have no such emotions at all. He will only constantly attack the living creatures around him and give them pain. This is simply a demon. Several fighter pilots watched this scene and almost subconsciously pressed the launch button of the missile, and the small airborne missile attacked Wani Angel heavily with a string of flames. And this time the attack was like some kind of signal. Immediately, both humans and Chitauri set their targets on Wani Angel and began to unreservedly pour firepower at Wani Angel.
The end.
Chapter 77. New York's Underground. Jiang Bai was sitting in an RV, watching the situation outside through the monitor. The huge blood pool we found is in front of you. Jean Bin is leading the members of Red Right Hand to the blood pool they found, which is the location of 354. In this operation, Jiang Bai did not use the old compass, but asked Jean to launch his forces in New York City to find the trace of 354. The reason why he did this was because Jiang Bai felt that these followers of his should play some role. Since Jean Bing became his own believer, apart from collecting D-class personnel for the Foundation, he has made no other contributions. Jiang Bai felt that it was time for Jean to play more roles. After all, as the Foundation grows bigger and bigger in the future, it is impossible for me to go there every time and wander around here with an old compass, so it is very necessary for these forces under my command to cooperate with each other. So this time Jiang Bai asked Jean Bing and his forces to look for the blood pool, and then asked Hong Right Hand to contain it. Originally, Jiang Bai thought that it might take a long time for Jean Bing to find the blood pool, but he did not expect that Jean Bing had already found it in such a short time. At the moment, Jean Bing is leading the members of Red Right Hand in the underground world of New York. This is a gathering place for illegal organizations such as gangsters, smugglers, and private laboratories. Most of them are built in the name of building underground garages, and they are connected with each other. More than 1/3 of the dark deals in New York are done here. In fact, both SHILD and the council knew about this, but because this place could also generate a lot of income for them, they didn't manage this place, allowing this dark world to grow savagely. Since Jean Bin got the task of finding the blood pool from Jiang Bai, he started searching non-stop, and then found the suspected existence of the blood pool in this underground world. It was a place relatively close to the outside world, and a virus experiment leaked in this place, causing many deaths. Since then, few people would come to this place. If Jean Bing hadn't ordered the whole city to search this time, it is estimated that none of his younger brothers would come to this place. After all, if it is contaminated with a little deadly virus, it will be over. Wait a moment. Just when Jean Bing and the others were about to arrive at the blood pool, suddenly the captain of the Red Right Hand let out a low drink, and immediately the whole Red Right Hand team stopped, carefully guarding the surroundings. 063 this time, the Red Right-Handed team that followed Jean Bing had only 20 people, 5 reality benders, 5 thaumaturges, 10 weapon combatants. Because the main task of the Red Right Hand is to protect Jiang Bai, they only dispatched 2/5 of the personnel this time. But this combat power, in Jiang Bai's opinion, is already enough. especially the captain of the Red Right Hand, a level 3 reality bender, who alone can fight those so-called Asgard gods, and is even stronger. So in Jiang Bai's view, these combat powers are absolutely sufficient. At the moment was also the captain of the Red Right Hand, and he immediately stopped his actions when he noticed something was wrong. But Jiang is not a member of the Red Right Hand team after all, and immediately stopped all his people when he saw this. Jiang Bing's younger brothers are already full of doubts about the Red Right Hand squad. I don't know where this strange existence came from. Now that the Red Right Hand team put on such a posture, it made them even more puzzled. When even a younger brother came to Jiang Bing's side, he asked Jiang Bing in a low voice, "Boss, who are these people?" Before he finished speaking, a black shadow suddenly sprang out from the shadows on one side and rushed towards Jiang Bing directly. Seeing this situation, the captain of the Red Right Hand was about to make a move, but after seeing Jiang Bing's reaction, he stopped his action again. Because Jiang faced this mysterious attacker, his huge body dodged the attack at a completely inconsistent speed and pushed the attacker to the ground with a backhand. At this moment, Jiang Bing was pressing a leopard-sized feline that was covered in blue translucent ice crystals under his body. His huge amounts of palm directly grabbed the ice leopard's neck, and huge amounts of strength pressed the ice leopard tightly under him. Although the ice leopard was still struggling constantly, it couldn't successfully escape Jiang Bing's suppression. Although Jiang is not a mutant, nor has he obtained any mutation power like Spider-Man and others, but he is undoubtedly one of the most powerful humans, truly representing the strongest combat experience that purebred humans in this world can achieve. Even the monsters that were born in the pool of blood were still powerless to fight back when facing Jiang Bing. It was just a face-to-face effort and was suppressed by Jiang Bing. Although the ice leopard was still struggling constantly, it didn't appear to be free from Jiang Bing's control at all. What a beautiful big cat. Jiang Bing looked at the ice leopard who was crushed to the ground by him, and a happy smile appeared on his face. The order Jiang Bai gave him was to lead the way, but now he has subdued a dangerous monster. Presumably this will give the Lord more recognition for himself, right? For Jiang Bing, those who have been infected by the mark of the old Lord, but under Jiang Bai's intervention, have not lost themselves. Although their ways of thinking and acting are still the same as before, how to get Jiang Bai's approval and how to please Jiang Bai has become the first priority in their lives. So after subduing this ice leopard, the first thing Jiang Bing thought of was whether Jiang Bai would recognize him more because of this, and because the Foundation led by Jiang Bai generally catches these strange creatures alive. So at the moment, Jiang Bing also looked up at the captain of Hong's right hand. "Sir, this big cat, can't we first?" As soon as Jiang Bing was halfway through his words, he felt something was wrong, because he suddenly felt the presence of the hand that was holding the ice leopard. Jiang Bing immediately looked down, but found that at some point, the hand holding the ice leopard was frozen stiff, and a thin layer of ice crust had appeared on it. It is estimated that after a while, your hands will freeze completely. Seeing this scene, Jiang didn't dare to have the slightest reason, and immediately squeezed it hard, and the ice shell on his hand shattered immediately. The powerful brute force combined with the unique luck and fighting skills learned by Jiang Bing soon made his palms regain consciousness. But at the same time, he also felt a bone-piercing chill, and his entire arm felt a chill from the inside out. Because of this, Jiang Bing's ability to suppress the ice leopard seemed to be a little weaker, and the ice leopard immediately roared, and then struggled to break free from Jiang Bing's suppression. Although the ice leopard looks like a creature made entirely of ice crystals, its movements are not slow at all. Jiang Bing's subordinates shot decisively after seeing the ice leopard break free from Jiang Bing's suppression. But most of these bullets were dodged by the ice leopard. Even if a few bullets hit the ice leopard, they couldn't cause too serious damage. At most, it would crack the layer of ice crystals on the outside of the ice leopard. But that's all. On the contrary, after being attacked by these people, the ice leopard became even more violent. Dang Lian let out a cry similar to an angry leopard, and then rushed towards Jiang Bing's younger brothers. Facing the lightning-fast attack of the ice leopard, these people had no time to make any resistance and were crushed to the ground by the ice leopard. With icy fangs and sharp claws, lightly stroke these people's bodies, and there will be a wound with cold air. And these cold air will drill into the body of these people along the wound, freezing all his blood, causing these people to die from problems such as insufficient blood supply and high blood pressure caused by blood vessel blockage. Damn it! Jiang Bing watched his younger brothers fall down one by one, and his eyes, Kai, turned red immediately. This is under the eyes of the Lord. If I can't even handle such a big cat, this will definitely make the Lord disappointed in me. After thinking this way, Jiang Bing immediately roared and rushed towards the ice leopard. At this moment, the ice leopard was planning to attack Jean Bing's other younger brother, and its icy fangs and sharp claws were already shining dangerously in the air, as if it would turn this man into an ice sculpture in the next 10 minutes. But at this time, Jean Bing had already rushed behind the ice leopard, and when he came up, he hugged the ice leopard's lower body directly. The ice leopard still wanted to struggle, but immediately after Jean Bing hugged the ice leopard, he fell headlong and directly smashed the ice leopard's head to the ground. Immediately before the ice leopard got up, he went up and punched the ice leopard on the head. One punch can smash the stone wall into pieces, and the iron fist fell on the ice leopard's head like a storm, one after another. Although the ice leopard is considered an abnormal creature, its combat power is not too strong. If it is an ordinary person facing the ice leopard, it is inevitable to die, but Jean is not an ordinary person. He represents the existence of the peak combat power of Marvel purebred humans, and it is also a supervillain, and can even be suppressed when facing not-so-strong superheroes such as Spider-Man and Daredevil. His fist, one punch is enough to kill a fierce tiger. Even an abnormal creature like the ice leopard, when facing Jean Bing's fist, began to be unable to support it. Cracks gradually appeared on the head, and then expanded with each punch of Jean Bing. Finally, with the sound of an ice cube breaking, the ice head was directly beaten to death by Jean Bing. If a normal person sees this scene, it may be unbelievable, but the members of the Red Right Hand feel that it is normal. After all, in the universe of the Foundation, there are many things that humans can do that are far more exaggerated than this, such as deceiving a stag, talking and laughing happily. These are all supreme divinities, but they can still be restricted by humans. Compared with this, Two's record is somewhat unsurprising. Go ahead. The captain of the Red Right Hand looked at this scene and said lightly, "You can encounter abnormal creatures here, which means that the blood pool has already produced a lot of abnormal creatures. We must find and contain them as soon as possible. Just do it." Although the captain of the Red Right Hand is not a believer of Jiang Bai, he, like Jiang Bai's captain, puts Jiang Bai's orders first. So after confirming that the blood pool had begun to become active, the captain of the Red Right Hand immediately became anxious. He looked like he wanted to contain the blood pool as soon as possible. "How far is that blood-red pool you saw before?" Seeing how anxious the captain of the Red Right Hand was, Jean Bing immediately asked his little brother. "It's coming soon. It's just a little ahead, and it's probably less than 1,000 meters away." As soon as he finished speaking, he saw the captain of the Red Right Hand and all the members of the Red Right Hand directly past Jean, and they walked towards the distance. Apparently, the captain of the Red Right Hand intends to continue to follow Jean, and then he is behind him. He has to do it himself. Find the blood pool as soon as possible and complete the containment. Jean Bing watched them leave without any hesitation and hurriedly wanted to stop them, but found that the Red Right Hand team had already gone far. Damn it. Seeing this situation, Jean Bing cursed angrily, then turned his head to look at the little brothers beside him. "Going forward, you can't help much. Everyone go back, find property and get 10,000 US dollars. It will be your bonus. No one will get 100,000 US dollars for the dead brother. I will support the family. Go back quickly." After finishing speaking, Jean Bing didn't care about these people anymore, but went straight to catch up. Only a few younger brothers were left standing in place, looking at Jean Bing's back hesitantly, and after hesitation for a long while, he said, "Don't you need to give me some proof?" "Boss, going back and belongings will really give us money?" But now it's hard to hear these words. He had quickly caught up with the Red Right Hand team and came to the place where the blood pool was with them. But it was only when they came to the blood pool that they realized that the current blood pool seemed a bit different, because there is a lot of real blood besides the blood pool here, and these fresh blood are flowing into the blood pool. I don't know if it's because of the fresh blood that the current blood pool is like the continuously boiling lava in the crater, constantly bubbling, and there is also a big emperor the monster crawled out of the pool. These monsters look all kinds of strange things, and they have all kinds of shapes. But there is no doubt that these monsters are very dangerous, at least for ordinary people. They are deadly. At the moment, Jiang Bai, who saw these monsters through the monitor on the Red Right Hand captain, couldn't help but frown. In addition to the large bats, large echidna rats, humanoid reptiles, leopards made of ice crystals, leopards made of lava, and robots recorded in the archives, there are many other appearances. Monsters, centaurs, kobolds, how come there are things like goblins? Jiang Bai really didn't expect that so many strange things would be born from the pool of blood. The blood in the blood pool is sent directly. Now there is a war outside. The battle between Chitauri and the army and the SHILD battle has reached a feverish stage. It is estimated that the blood is from them and innocent people. Because they were attracted by the blood pool, they all gathered in this place and merged into the blood pool. But this also means that the blood pool has a lot of resources at the moment and can create more monsters. Jiang Bai originally wanted to let them start containment immediately, but at this moment, a beam of light suddenly shone in from outside. It seems that because the battle outside was too fierce, the ground in this area was broken, and the blood pool and these monsters all appeared in the public's field of vision. Oops. Seeing this situation, Jiang Bai's face immediately changed. Start containment immediately.
The end.
Chapter 78. Although because of the appearance of Wani Angel, both humans and Chitauri had a little fear, so they cooperated with each other to launch an attack on Wani Angel. But in fact, humans and Chitauri are still fighting. They will attack each other while attacking Wani Angel. The whole New York is in a mess under their fighting style. After a while, the Chitauri will destroy 2 human fighter planes, and after a while, the humans will kill all the Chitauri on the back of a certain sky behemoth. However, the biggest threat to both sides at the moment is still Wani Angel, which makes them both very angry at the other party's blatant and secretive attack. But they are helpless, because no one dared to relax the attack on Wani Angel. Since the appearance of Wani Angel, the ammunition pouring out like a violent storm has never stopped. With so many ammunition, it is impossible not to hit Wani Angel every time. Sometimes a careless will fly into the opponent's camp, causing some small losses. And the attack that penetrated the ground above the blood pool was caused by Chitauri's careless behavior. These monsters created by the blood pool are looking around at the moment. The smell of war and gunpowder strongly stimulated their fighting spirit and ferocity. These terrifying monsters rushed out while letting out bloodthirsty roars, killing anyone they saw. Jiang Bai, who was watching all this in the RV, immediately frowned, showing a little anger on his face. These guys ruined my good work. Originally, Jiang Bai wanted Red Right Hand to contain the blood pool first while humans and Chitauri were dealing with Wani Angel. After the blood pool was contained, it would be much easier to deal with only one Wani Angel left. As long as the surrounding area is muted, Wani Angel is actually a relatively easy existence to deal with. In other words, the vast majority of abnormal objects are like this. Their trouble is the rule, but their weakness is also the rule. For example, Wani Angel, as long as he is placed in an absolutely silent environment, he will not feel the existence of sound waves, and he will fall into a standby state. Therefore, Shi Jiangri has already prepared the containment method for Wani Angel. Use an absolutely soundproof metal box to trap Wani Angel, and then transport it to the strong containment room of the Blue Ocean building. So Jiang Bai planned to contain the blood pool first while Wani Angel was still restraining humans and Chitauri. Because compared with 10,000 Wings Angel, the blood pool, which can keep flowing and contain monsters, is the biggest threat to human beings. Originally, Jiang Bai planned this way, but now the blood pool is suddenly exposed to the outside world. The monsters created by the blood pool are already fierce and dangerous, but now they suddenly come into contact with the outside world, and they will only become more dangerous. And the fact is just as Jiang Bai imagined. As the ground above was blasted away, these monsters and pools of blood appeared in people's eyes. And these people who are still in a hurry to escape at this moment have also seen these monsters. There are echidnas bigger than bears, humanoid insect creatures 4 or 5 meters high, huge poisonous snakes more than 10 meters long, centaurs holding spears, and even fierce goblins holding shields and swords. These creatures that would only exist in fantasy novels all appeared in front of these people. Looking at these magical creatures, there was a trace of surprise in everyone's eyes. After all, they had never seen these creatures before, and they always believed that these were just creatures that existed in people's fantasy. However, they can be stunned, but these monsters are not stunned. When a goblin raises the dagger in his hand, jumps high and throws himself on a person's face, pushes the person down to the ground, then raises the dagger in his hand and stabs the person's face again and again when it was up, everyone immediately reacted. The blood-splattered and piercing screams immediately brought these people back to reality. They all looked at these monsters in horror, their eyes full of despair and fear. At this moment, an unknown featherball monster and an army of aliens have appeared in New York, and now there are so many strange monsters. What the hell is going on in New York? Can we really survive this threat? Human beings today, after all, have not experienced the experience of villains such as Purple Sweet Potato Essence and Galactus who are about to exterminate human beings and destroy the planet at every turn. Psychological endurance ability, somewhat fragile. So in this situation where the wolf is in the front and the tiger is the back, there will soon be some desperate tendencies. However, Jiang Bai believes that as long as the people in the beautiful country accept ability after experiencing such situations several times, they will be tempered. It's just that there are still some people who haven't reacted yet. Don't worry too much about this. But now, run. There are monsters. The crowd who fled here to avoid the battle collided with the crowd behind them who didn't know what happened in front of them, and no one would let the other. For a while, a large number of people were all blocked together. And this also gave these monsters an excellent venue for a massacre. After seeing the crowd blocked in the middle, these monsters all roared excitedly and rushed up. An ordinary human body has no chance of winning against these monsters. Even in a beautiful country that is full of freedom and can carry guns with you, it is the same. Ordinary firearms have no effect on these monsters at all. What's more, these people have already been scared out of their wits. How can they still have the courage to resist? All their thoughts were on how to escape. So this caused countless people to lose all their strength and fear, and then burst into tears, and even watch these monsters involuntarily in front of them, and then killed them. Own. Fury, who was watching Chitauri and humans jointly attack Wani Angel, suddenly received another call from the council. Fury, UB****************. D. As soon as the call came through, before Fury could even figure out what was going on, there was a barrage of cursing. Sir, can you first clarify what happened? Fury was scolded by the council with a dazed face. He didn't even know what happened. It can only be heard from the tone on the other side that something very important should have happened. What's the matter? New York is the headquarters of your shield. Now New York is not only invaded by aliens, but there are also a large number of monsters appearing and slaughtering people. But you don't know anything? What the hell are you? The director of SHIELD Win. After hearing Fury's question, the council was even more outraged, and the voice of questioning Fury became louder. But at this moment, even if Fury smashed his corned egg head, he didn't want to understand. Where did this group of monsters appear again? Could it be the ghosts of those aliens? The video about this incident on the internet has spread all over the internet, and some more reporters have already filmed this incident and broadcast it live. As soon as Fury heard this, he immediately took out another mobile phone and searched online. Right now, almost the entire internet is full of news about the battle in New York. Various criticisms of SHIELD's incompetence and parliamentary inaction are overwhelming. Just looking at Fury can feel a burst of pressure, so he can understand why the council is so angry. Because if this matter is not dealt with properly, both SHIELD and the parliament will lose their credibility. This is no joke. Soon Fury found a video of a monster attack in New York amidst a pile of news videos. However, just opening it and taking a look, Fury couldn't help but feel his heart tighten, because it can be clearly seen in the video that a large number of corpses are piled up together, and blood flows from every corpse and every piece of meat, and then slowly gathers together, flowing into a deep pit not far away. And Fury also seemed to see that in this deep pit, there was a pool of water like a lake, filled with blood-red liquid. If it's all blood, the thought just popped into Fury's mind for a moment, and he immediately put it behind him. Because this is really something Fury can't imagine. With so much blood, how many people would die? This is something Fury can't even imagine. Just the scene in the video alone was enough to scare Fury. There are dead bodies everywhere, and people are constantly killed by those riding strange monsters. Just like cattle and sheep in a slaughterhouse, they were slaughtered one by one without any chance to resist, and turned into a pile of minced meat. Seeing this video, Fury knew he had to act. Otherwise, even if this incident is successfully resolved, SHIELD and the parliament will be flattened by these angry people. Fury doesn't want to open his eyes every day in SHIELD, thinking about how to face the crowds who are marching and demonstrating outside. I will immediately arrange manpower to deal with this matter. Fury just said this, and then immediately called Captain America. Now that Tony is busy dealing with the monster in the sky, Banner has probably turned into the Hulk, and he can't control his anger at all. Now the entire Avengers, Fury can contact and command, and only Captain America is left. Captain America, a group of dangerous monsters are massacring the people in New York City right now. I need you to go there immediately. After Fury explained the address and the situation, Captain America, the Winter Soldier, immediately started to act without saying a word. No matter what happens, Captain America will always be the one who protects justice. Only this will never change. So when Captain America heard that the people were threatened, they immediately acted. Looking at the phone that had been hung up, Fury frowned and muttered to himself with some doubts. Why do I always feel that something is missing? Is there something wrong with these things that have happened recently? Fury reached out and scratched his shiny head, with deep doubt and incomprehension in his eyes. But it didn't take long for Fury to figure out what was missing. Foundation. Why is there so much trouble this time? But there is no movement from the Foundation. This is unreasonable. The Foundation should be the most active when these things happen. Zero at this point. Even Fury couldn't figure out, where did the Foundation get their information from? Obviously, even their SHIELD don't know many things. But the Foundation seems to be able to predict the future, making preparations in advance when the event happens. The most obvious is the zombie virus outbreak in Raccoon City. I don't know how many SHIELD agents went to the Umbrella Company to find out what they wanted what to do, but until the end, even a little clue was not found. But the Foundation was able to make all the preparations before the Umbrella Corporation took action, and then went to Raccoon City to directly destroy the Umbrella Corporation's plan. In the end, although it was said that General Ross saved Raccoon City, in fact, Fury always felt that there should be Foundation designs in it. It's just that Fury couldn't find evidence, so he didn't say much. Thinking that the Foundation might be doing something secretly at this moment, Fury immediately took out his phone and called Natasha Romanoff. Inside the RV, Jiang Bai is instructing Red Right Hand to contain the blood pool as soon as possible to avoid more monsters from appearing. Suddenly, Natasha Romanoff's cell phone turned cold, and Natasha Romanoff looked up at Jiang Bai at the same time. Although she didn't say anything, Jiang Bai knew what was going on. Fury's phone call? He can't sit still. Braised egghead? Hearing Jiang Bai call Fury that, Natasha Romanoff thought about it again. It seemed quite appropriate. Immediately, he couldn't help laughing out loud. Come on, it's too early for you to reveal your identity. I don't need your identity at S.H.I.E.L.D. Now that she got Jiang Bai's consent, Natasha Romanoff answered Fury's call without any burden. Black Widow, the Foundation hasn't made any moves recently, has it? Natasha Romanoff looked up at Jiang Bai upon hearing Fury's question. Jiang Bai just smiled, and then lip-synced to Natasha Romanoff. Tell the truth. Jiang Bai is now containing the blood pool number 354, and the monsters that appear in the New York City area are all created by this blood pool. What? When Fury heard this, he immediately became excited. At the same time, I also remembered that in the video, I seemed to see that there was indeed a huge amount of scarlet water pool in the big pit behind those monsters. Those monsters are actually made by that thing? No, such a powerful and dangerous thing must be in the hands of our SHIELD to ensure the world's safety. As soon as he thought of these things, Fury immediately hung up the phone, and then took out something like a remote control crystal button from his body. But he didn't press it, but after a moment of hesitation, he took the button back, and immediately notified all Avengers members to give up on Chitauri and 10,000 Wings Angels attack, immediately went to fight for the blood pool. If even they can't seize the blood pool, maybe I can only use this whole card.
The end?
Chapter 79. The monsters created by the blood pool have come outside at this moment, and they are not only attacking ordinary citizens, also attack general armies, even Chitauri. General Ross troops, who were attacking Chitauri and Wani Angel at the same time, were attacked by these monsters at this moment. Damn it. Why are there so many monsters in New York all of a sudden? General Ross troops are leading the evacuation of the population within the city, as well as countering Chitauri's ground forces. Originally, this was already enough trouble, but now suddenly found that there was a group of monsters in front of him, and each of them had bloody hands, killing humans. This is enough to show that they are all enemies. Therefore, the frontline commander of the army immediately ordered all troops to open fire on the monsters created by the blood pool. New monsters have appeared in New York and are massacring the people. All soldiers will open fire as soon as they find these monsters. Yes. Asterisk, a large amount of firepower poured out immediately, forming a dense firepower net, pressing on these monsters. It has to be said that the army of the beautiful country is among the best in the world. After all, they have all experienced many times of actual combat training. At this moment, when facing these monsters and aliens that they have never seen before, although they also have panic, apprehension, and uneasiness. But after the order from their superiors, they immediately obeyed the order, picked up the weapons in their hands, and began to pour firepower at these monsters. A large number of bullets were shot at these monsters, because these monsters are generally tall, so they can hit them with almost no standard. But these same bullets did not cause much damage to these monsters. For 6-3, a bullet landed on them. At most it was like being bitten by a mosquito. It was not painful at all. Therefore, all the monsters charged the army against the firepower net. Although many monsters would fall down because of too many bullets on the way to the charge, or even be smashed into pieces by the dense firepower net, it is indeed constantly approaching. Damn it, aren't these monsters afraid of death? Looking at this scene, the frontline commander couldn't help but cursed angrily. But he also knew that these monsters had to be stopped now, otherwise they would really let these monsters rush into his formation, which would definitely cause 10 massacres. The first team of gunships, the third team of fighter jets, and the fifth team of tanks attack these monsters immediately. They must be intercepted, and they cannot be allowed to move forward. Yes. The chiefs of the 3 brigades responded in unison through the intercom. Immediately, the 3 brigades turned their guns and aimed at these monsters. Originally, they were all venting their firepower on one angel, but there was no effect. This made them feel powerless, as if they had punched cotton with 10 punches. Now that they heard that they were going to fight some monsters, all the members were naturally full of energy. Go! A team of armed helicopters was the first to join the battle. The heavy machine guns hanging under the helicopter aimed at the monsters below and sprayed out a lot of tongues of flame. The firepower of gunships is completely different from normal firearms. The bullets and firearms they use are all ordered from Hammer Industries, which are more powerful than ordinary firearms. These large-caliber special bullets, even those monsters with strong defense and almost bulletproof bodies, will be crushed to powder in the face of the powerful firepower of the armed helicopter. With the strong firepower suppressed by the armed helicopter team, a large number of monsters were soon beaten into meat paste, and the attack trend of these monsters was also delayed to a certain extent. And at this time, the 3rd fighter team also launched an attack from behind the monster group, and small missiles constantly fell into the monster group, causing a series of explosions. With each explosion, more than a dozen monsters would be killed on the spot. This further slowed down the charge momentum of these monsters. Seeing that such tactics were effective, the 5th tank team also came to the front from the rear of the ground troops. The turret on the tank aimed at the group of monsters and fired one shot after another, constantly bombarding the monsters. A large number of monsters were blown into pieces all over the place. There is also a tendency to be suppressed in turn. Very good. That's it. The ground troops start a counterattack, and we must wipe out all these monsters. The frontline commander looked at this scene and even thought that these monsters could no longer cause any big storms. Next, you only need to lead the army to wipe out all these monsters. But just when he thought so, a dark cloud in the distant sky was approaching them. The frontline commander didn't pay much attention to this at first, until the tactical radar first showed that all these dark clouds had signs of life, and he suddenly woke up. Not good. This is the 1st team of armed helicopters, the 3rd team of fighter jets. Be careful above you. Those? Before the frontline commander could finish his sentence, he saw that the dark cloud was actually full of huge amounts of bats. Almost every one of these bats had the file size of a human. The 1st team of armed helicopters and the 3rd team of fighter jets launched an attack. At the moment, Gunship Team 1 and Fighter Team 3 have also spotted the bats, and immediately started to attack, trying to repel these bats. But the number of bats is really too much, even if the bats here can't resist the attack of bullets, let alone survive the explosion. But the number of these bats is too many, and in a blink of an eye, the entire 1st team of armed helicopters and the 3rd team of fighter jets have been enveloped. Their sharp teeth and sharp claws can tear the metal shells of armed helicopters and fighter jets, destroying the overall structure of the aircraft. You must know that during the flight of these aircraft, even hitting a small bird may cause a crash. Not to mention that now we have to face these bat attacks with human file size. Almost at the moment when it was engulfed by the bat swarm, a series of flames lit up in the bat swarm. A large number of bats were killed, but at the same time, the 1st team of armed helicopters and the 3rd team of fighter jets, which provided fire suppression for the ground troops, were all wiped out. Without air support, the monsters immediately launched a counterattack. Although in front of the ground troops, there are still dozens of tanks constantly bombarding the group of monsters, it seems that they can temporarily suppress the monsters. But the next moment, several existences that were clearly different from these monsters rushed out of them. These are a few silver robots with humanoid appearance, and their bodies gradually became transparent shortly after they appeared. In the end, they became invisible directly. Neither the radar on the tank nor other radars in the army could detect the existence of these robots. These robots are also products made by the blood pool. In the files of the Foundation, these guys are called Terminators, and they are a kind of machinery that was born entirely for killing. It is said that when the blood pool was contained, this machine called the Terminator killed 90% of the personnel at the Foundation site responsible for containing the blood pool, and then stopped fighting because of exhaustion of energy, and was killed. The Foundation has been dismantled and has experiments. Now these Terminators were also created by the blood pool. After being invisible, they quickly approached the tanks in front of the ground troops, and then used all kinds of weapons they carried to attack the tanks. Each tank is a team, from the commander, driver, gunner to the observer. There are several people, but none of them noticed what was going on. Just looking in front of the tank, it seems that there is something more suddenly, but before they figured out what, under their horrified and puzzled eyes, the tank disintegrated. Just like a cake, it was sliced open by these Terminators with a sharp blade, and the thick armor was useless in front of these mysterious monsters, like it was made of mud. Looking at the scenery outside, it seems that these soldiers are still a little puzzled. They don't understand why the scenery in front of them has changed in the blink of an eye, but the next moment, he felt a sharp pain coming from his body. Looking down, a line of blood gradually appeared on their bodies, and then appeared bit by bit. Finally, with the sound of paste, a large amount of blood and internal organs gushed out from the wound, and their bodies followed suit. It broke in two and fell to the ground. No, impossible. Looking at this scene, everyone couldn't believe their eyes. The 4 words "unbelievable" are written on every soldier's face. They didn't even see what happened. A new heavy tank like a steel giant was destroyed in front of them, and it looks like it was cut off with a knife. But in this world, how can there be such a sharp knife? None of these soldiers could believe their eyes, but the next moment, the Terminators destroyed more tanks. None of the entire 5 tank teams were spared and were chopped into pieces. Immediately after, the Terminator entered the army. Even the Terminator, which cannot be detected by radar, naturally cannot be seen by these people with the naked eye. A silent massacre began at this time. These soldiers looked around cautiously, guarding everything they could see, and the fear was spreading in their hearts. Everyone doesn't know what is attacking them, but it is also because of this that they are so afraid, because the unknown is the greatest horror. Terminators are like machines that are born to kill. Every part of the body exists to kill, to actually kill each other. They silently entered the formation of these soldiers, then raised the butcher knife in their hands in front of these soldiers, and then chopped it down heavily. Like a broken faucet, blood flowed out constantly, staining the ground red. Seeing such a weird and bloody scene, some soldiers with weak mental abilities have already collapsed. What? Some soldiers felt as if they were surrounded by enemies everywhere, and any slight disturbance would make them feel like frightened birds, and they were terribly frightened. So they started to attack the surroundings indiscriminately, and the bullets sprayed out in all directions around them. Don't want. Calm down. Are you crazy? However, this approach is useless except that it will kill the teammates around him and further strengthen the fear of other soldiers. And because of the suppression of the army by the Terminator and the Bat Swarm, the remaining monsters also rushed up immediately, killing these soldiers as if they were in no man's land. For a time, the failure of the army seemed to have become a foregone conclusion, which could not be reversed at all. Seeing the tragic experience on the human side, even Chitauri, the invader, felt a little terrified. In the remote, the leader of Chitauri, who is in charge of commanding operations on a distant planet, is reporting to Thanos the strange situation that happened in New York. That blue planet seems to be more dangerous than we imagined. There are many extremely dangerous and never-before-seen existences in it. The leader of Chitauri played the video about Angel of the Thousand Wings and the blood pool monster in front of Thanos. Thanos, who was originally indifferent, immediately became serious after watching the video. These things. Thanos looked at the 10,000-winged angel and the blood pool monster in the video. His expression gradually became serious. Because in his opinion, these things are not quite right. At least not the species he has seen in the universe for so many years. This is amazing. I remember the level of technology on this planet. Even interstellar migration can't be done? Thanos couldn't understand how a planet that couldn't even do interstellar migration could have so many strange things that didn't belong to this planet. Master, maybe there is something special about this 4.0 planet? After all, this world seems to have many strong people. One of the Black Order beside Thanos, Ebony Maw said suddenly at this moment. Thanos also nodded slightly to this. After he decided to invade the Earth, he already felt that there seemed to be an existence on this planet with similar strength to his own. This is a very dangerous signal, so Thanos will let Loki go first. I also want to use this to test the overall strength of the Earth and confirm how many strong people are there on the Earth. But none of the strong men he wanted to see appeared, but a bunch of strange guys appeared, which Thanos did not expect. But soon Thanos planned accordingly. Let your legion also join in the siege of these monsters and find out where they come from. Logically speaking, the best choice for Thanos is to take advantage of this opportunity to seize control of New York immediately, and then more Chitauri legions enter the Earth, so as to realize the Earth invasion. But Thanos did not do this. The reason why he invaded the Earth was not simply to plan the population of the Earth. More importantly, he wants to get the infinite gems on Earth. And infinite gems is bound to be in the hands of the strong on Earth. So Thanos plans to make things bigger, and use this to attract the dark strong on Earth, and finally get rid of them from their hands. Take infinite gems from Earth. I never imagined that such a small planet has such a strange existence. Also, why are these creatures as if they are not from this universe? At least I have never seen such existence.
The end.
Chapter 80. Inside New York City. The soldiers who were fighting hard against the monsters created by the blood pool were already on the verge of collapse. It is estimated that they will completely collapse and flee in a short time. But at this critical point, the troops who had besieged Wani Angel and Chitauri who attacked the city before all turned their guns and began to attack the monsters in the blood pool. Chitauri's ultra-high-temperature ray gun is completely different from human firearms in terms of lethality. Each shot will penetrate the body of one or more monsters. Although the bodies of these monsters can withstand the bullets of human firearms, they can't block the ultra-high-temperature rays, almost one by one. With the help of Chitauri, the human side immediately felt a lot easier, barely getting a chance to breathe from the offensive of these monsters. But human beings are also confused at the moment, and even General Ross himself doesn't understand what happened. Everyone looked at these Chitauri with a look of incomprehension. Before Chitauri attacked Wani Angel, they could somewhat understand it. After all, Wani Angel also launched an attack on Chitauri. But now none of these monsters pose any threat to their Chitauri. If they don't take this opportunity to completely occupy New York, they already have chivalry. How can you still help humans? In fact, not to mention that humans cannot understand it, even Chitauri is the same. It's just that Chitauri is still a creature with a structure similar to a worm's nest. They are all half mechanical and half biological soldiers, manufactured through the mothership. All their actions must obey the mothership's command. So they will execute the order immediately, and don't care too much about the rationality of the order. But at the same time, the mothership is also their weakness. Once the mothership is destroyed, the entire war will be declared over. Therefore, in the universe, the Chitauri Legion is actually almost at the bottom. Only the Earth has never been in contact with the Chitauri Legion. It will be so difficult to fight 12. Otherwise, through the portal established by Loki, a nuclear bomb directly blows up Chitauri's mothership. In fact, there are not so many troubles. Why? Loki stood on the roof of the Stark Industry, looking at the Chitauri army that was about to occupy the entire New York, suddenly gave up the occupation of New York, and turned to attack the monsters that were fighting the human army. The whole person is stupid. Immediately Loki made contact with the Chitauri leader. What the hell are you doing? Isn't the most important thing now is to occupy New York as soon as possible? Why are you meddling in your own business? Loki confronted the Chitauri leader angrily. Seeing that he is about to complete his goal, occupy New York, and let Chitauri's army center on New York, occupy the entire Earth and become his own territory. But at this juncture, these guys are running to help humans? Did I make a mistake? You guys are flirting with each other and showing your feelings, right? Did the B****************** DC Mungbin right? Are you planning to fall in love and kill each other? Not to mention how uncomfortable Loki felt at the moment. If it weren't for Loki's knowledge, he would still have to rely on Chitauri, relying on the power of Thanos, to complete his plan. He really wants to curse now. Chitauri and Mia are idiots. Bunch of mindless idiots. But Loki is still holding back, and the leader of Chitauri threatened Loki directly. Loki, you are just using our power to accomplish your own goals. We are not your subordinates. You don't have the right to intervene in what I want to do. What you should do now is to shut up and watch quietly. The Earth will definitely be yours. In the eyes of the Chitauri chiefs, Loki is nothing more than a bug attached to their power. Nothing can be done with Loki alone. But such a person still feels that he is omnipotent, which makes the leader of Chitauri have always had a bad feeling for Loki. This time Loki interfered with Chitauri's actions again, which made him even more disgusted with Loki. So immediately he began to reprimand Loki naturally. His words were full of contempt and disdain for Loki. Although hearing these words, Loki seemed to have a fire burning in his heart, and his whole body trembled slightly with anger. But in the end Loki didn't say a word. Because he knew that what Chitauri said was right. If he really left Chitauri and Thanos to help, I am afraid that there would really be no place for him in this universe. He is already a traitor of Asgard now. Otherwise, he would not choose to cooperate with Thanos of unknown origin to invade the Earth together. Looking at Loki, who hadn't finished speaking, the disdain and contempt in the eyes of the leader of Chitauri also increased a bit. Now you should understand? Don't judge our actions. You are not qualified. After speaking, the leader of Chitauri directly closed the call with Loki. Fuck. Looking at the closed call, Loki couldn't help but swear again. Although Loki has long been prepared for the possibility of something similar happening. But when he really met, he still couldn't bear the anger in his heart, roaring like a fierce beast. He vented the anger in his heart, but he didn't notice at all. In fact, his every move at this moment was under the observation of others. Is that the son of Odin? The one who planned all this and caused this invasion? Ancient One is still standing on that roof, but he has the whole situation of New York in his eyes. Even how many people died, how many people are running for their lives, etc., are all in his eyes. Now the person who was supposed to show up and take the time gem still didn't show up. Ancient One didn't care, because he knew it very well in his heart. The future has been changed, maybe the future where the person who traveled through time to take the time gem is gone. But Ancient One still didn't leave the house. He was looking at the whole of New York, and he was thinking about the same problem as Thanos. What are these things that suddenly appear? Thanos had never seen these things, and neither had the Ancient One. As a person who has lived on the Earth for a long time and witnessed countless changes on this planet, Ancient One was able to determine that no matter which giant badminton in the sky or the monsters killing around on the ground, they are not the creatures that should have existed on the Earth, and according to Ancient One's understanding, this should not be the first time that a creature that does not belong to this planet or even this universe has appeared on the Earth. There was a similar situation in New York before. That time, there were two human beings, but they were not human beings. They had a strange, curse-like, but not completely human existence. The power of the curse. There was a hint of doubt and worry in Ancient One's tone. This is not the first time he has encountered existence that is not the universe, and he also knows that in the multidimensional universe, there are countless completely different universes in time and space. During the Great Fire of London, Ancient One encountered a similar powerful existence. Lord of the Dark Latitude, Dormammu, a powerful demon lord. But from Ancient One's point of view, Dormammu is somewhat different from the monsters currently appearing in New York. Because from Dormammu's body, Ancient One can feel something from this universe, at least somewhat related to this universe. But on Wani Angel and these monsters, Ancient One couldn't feel anything. In addition to being strange, it is still strange. Even the eye of Agamotto I got from the Eternal God couldn't see through the origin of these monsters. I remember the last time something like this appeared in New York, there was also an organization called the Foundation. In this chaotic world, various organizations, either righteous or evil, emerge endlessly. Originally, Ancient One didn't pay much attention to this, but now Ancient One has to pay attention to this anomaly foundation. This foundation calls the existence of the two different universes last time as anomalies, and their mission seems to be to imprison these anomalies. Perhaps all of this really has something to do with this foundation. Ancient One thought for a long time, and finally came up with the only possibility. All of this is related to the Foundation, but just when he deliberately hesitated whether he should act immediately, and went to the Foundation to inquire and clarify everything, Odin's voice suddenly rang in his ears. Odin has actually been paying attention to this battle on Earth. After all, both Loki and Thor are Odin's sons. It's just an adopted son and a real son. Odin already knew about this battle, and it was also a trial that Odin left for Thor and Loki. Odin wants Thor to be a qualified king of the gods, and Loki to be a powerful helper who can assist Thor. So Odin put this test on the two. But a trial is a trial after all, and Odin doesn't want any of them to die in this trial. So Odin has been watching the battle to make sure that nothing happens to his two sons. Therefore, Odin naturally also saw the existence of 10,000 wings angel and blood pool monster that do not belong to their universe of this latitude. Ancient One, what are those things? I've never heard you mention them. There are such things in Midgard? Odin nature these things, definitely not creatures that would have existed in Midgard. These words are to question Ancient One. What is the situation? Now that his sons are all in Midgard, and Midgard has appeared in this strange creature again, Odin is naturally worried that this trial will really threaten Thor's life. That's why I immediately approached Ancient One. And Ancient One also understood this, so at least after a moment of silence, they told Odin about the Foundation. Foundation? Odin frowned. He had lived for so many years, and he really didn't know there was such an organization. Especially this organization could also span the universe. An organization with such strength should be quite a powerful and famous organization in the entire multidimensional universe. But I don't know why, but I haven't heard of such an existence at all. Ancient One, you should also know what my power can do to the universe of other latitudes, but I have never known or heard of the existence of the Foundation and these monsters in those 307 latitudes. In other words, this Foundation is likely to come from a universe of deeper latitudes that has never intersected with us. Hearing Odin's answer, Ancient One couldn't help showing a look of distress. You don't even know? Ancient One's body, because of the corrosion of dark energy, the body seldom interferes with other dimensional universes, but Odin will do this, and it is not the first time to do so. So Ancient One told Odin about the Foundation and hoped that Odin could tell him what the Foundation and these monsters are. But who knows, this is the result in the end. Odin actually doesn't know the origin of the Foundation and these monsters. That is to say, no one in himself, or even in the 9 realms, knows whether these existences are good or bad for the Earth. Ancient One, are you going to make a move? The guy suspended in the sky is even more powerful than most of the gods in Asgard, and I think he can regenerate his body infinitely. Wing is used as a shield to resist attacks. If you want to take him down quickly, you can only do it. Odin is old now, and his powers are constantly fading. Odin doesn't want to do it if it's not necessary. It will only accelerate the decay of his divine power and consume his dying life. So Odin wants to let Ancient One take a shot. Let Ancient One solve this trouble. But Ancient One's situation is actually quite similar to Odin's. He also doesn't want to make too many shots. Dark energy has been eroding his body. If he makes a move, it will also accelerate the dark energy. The erosion of energy on him, once the dark energy completely swallowed him. Demons from different spaces, beholders will come to this world. So Ancient One is also unwilling to make a move. Especially now that he hasn't found a suitable heir yet. Once he dies, the Supreme will be lost. So facing Odin's proposal, Ancient One immediately rejected it. I also can't make a move now. At least until the Earth really encounters an irresistible danger, I won't make a move. Odin knew about Ancient One's situation, so Ancient One didn't hide anything. After hearing what Ancient One said, Odin finally spoke to 11 after hesitation for a while. I will make the Destroyer stand by at any time. Once there is a danger that threatens Thor and Loki, I will immediately use the Destroyer to intervene in this battle. At the same time, Ancient One, you must also be ready. At that time, maybe the guy hiding behind my idiot and arrogant son, he may also make a move, and then it will be up to you. The end.
Loving the audiobooks? Your support on Patreon helps me keep them coming. Check out the link in the description. Also, a new novel, Glowing Star * The Emperor's Sinful Life * Glowing Star, is now available exclusively on Patreon. Don't miss out. A huge thank you for your support. Now, let's dive into the next chapter.
Chapter 81. On the ground, Chitauri joined forces with the human army to resist the blood pool monsters, although they were able to suppress the monsters created by the blood pool at first. But also as more and more people died, the blood flowing into the blood pool also gradually increased. And the blood flowing into the blood pool will make the blood pool create more and more powerful monsters, rushing up constantly, beheading humans and Chitauri. If this cycle continues, there will be fewer and fewer humans and Chitauri, while there will be more and more monsters in the blood pool. Now it is just because humans and Chitauri are superior in numbers and weapons, and they have some advantages for a short time, but if they continue to delay like this, I am afraid that in the future, both Chitauri and humans will be dragged to death by the blood pool monster. This is also something that has never happened before in the universe of the Foundation. Because in the universe of the Foundation, not long after the blood pool was contained, a containment failure occurred. A powerful monster was created by the blood pool and killed almost all the personnel at the containment site. In the end, the Foundation launched a nuclear explosion, destroying the area around the blood pool. Since then, the blood pool has rarely produced any monsters, and after the establishment of the new shelter, the control of the blood pool has become stricter, and there are almost no loopholes, allowing the blood pool to obtain enough to create monsters. Energy from powerful monsters. But now, in this universe, who knows how many people have died because of the war between Chitauri and humans? A conservative estimate is close to 1 million. Most of these people's blood was attracted by the blood pool and became the nutrient of the blood pool, which was used to create some powerful monsters. Moreover, these monsters will continue to kill people, increasing the number of dead, and the blood of these decedents will also flow into the blood pool to provide nutrients for the blood pool. What a set of assembly line work. Inside the RV, Jiang Bai, who understood all this, couldn't help sighing at this moment. After such a set of procedures, this pool of blood will only get bigger and bigger like a snowball. Master, what should we do now? Shall we do it directly? Natasha Romanoff and Ada Wong were both looking at the monitor screen with curiosity at the moment. The red right hand didn't do anything at the moment, but stood aside and watched all this with cold eyes. Although Natasha Romanoff and Ada Wong have already decided to switch to Jiang Bai, but the instinct of being an agent still made them full of curiosity about Jiang Bai, a team that suddenly appeared. Both of them were able to confirm that there was absolutely no such team called Red Right Hand in the New York branch of the Foundation before. They appeared suddenly after Jiang Bai returned to New York, and they were actually Jiang Bai's personal guards. You must know that the mobile task forces of the Foundation that I have seen before are all extremely powerful. But no matter what the order is, the nine-tailed fox is strictly disciplined. The hammer with powerful firepower and bravery in battle. A Mad Hatter who specializes in biochemistry and has excellent defense. Jiang Bai didn't make them his personal guards. But now facing Jiang Bai, he is willing to make this Red Right Hand his personal guard. This has to make the second daughter wonder what the identity of the Red Right Hand is, and what is the strength of the Red Right Hand. So now the second daughter Chi-Hong shot with her right hand. Moreover, before Jiang Bai also planned to let Hong's right hand take action immediately to contain the blood pool. But for some unknown reason, Jiang Bai suddenly gave up again, and just let Hong's right hand stand by on the spot and wait and see. Hearing Natasha Romanoff's question, Jiang Bai turned his head and looked at Natasha Romanoff like a fool. What are you going to do now? The blood pool has created such monsters, and if they don't let them all leave, I will let Hong hold his right hand. Wouldn't it make them die? Jiang Bai's definitely tone, as well as the weird look in his eyes, immediately made Natasha Romanoff feel like an idiot. Immediately Natasha Romanoff blushed and lowered her head. On the other hand, King Ada joked with Natasha Romanoff persistently. Yo, are you shy? Is it because our young master is so handsome? You? Natasha Romanoff immediately raised her head and gave King Ada a vicious look and made a gesture to hit King Ada. Okay, you two sisters, stop messing around. Although seeing two beauties fighting in front of him is also a kind of enjoyment, but Jiang Bai now feels that the most important thing is to get this matter done as soon as possible, so as to avoid further troubles in Shueqi. Two sisters? Hearing Jiang Bai's words, the two girls couldn't help looking at each other. Are they, like sisters? By the way, are there any sisters who snatch a man in this world? It seems that there are quite a lot. The second daughter may also have been with Jiang Bai for a long time, and she is used to being free and undisciplined, so she has to speak and do things more casually. But on the other hand, the second daughter also quite likes this kind of life. At least I don't have to wander between life and death every day like I did when I was an agent. It's much safer, and I've also been exposed to many things that I haven't touched before. It seems to have a little more understanding of this world. Jiang Bai didn't pay too much attention to the reaction and actions of the two of them. At the moment, he was focused on how to deal with the blood pool. Before Jiang Bai saw that all the monsters in the blood pool rushed out, he originally wanted to solve the blood pool as soon as possible to avoid causing greater losses. But later, it was discovered that Chitauri was also involved in the monsters created by these blood pools, so Jiang Bai was not so anxious. Because he knew that this meant that Thanos had already set his sights on the blood pool, and if he was too eager to make a move, he might be set on by Thanos instead. In addition, one thing can also be determined from Thanos' reaction. At this time, Odin and Ancient One have probably discovered the blood pool and Wani Angel. Originally, Jiang Bai planned to face these two guys after 343 was exchanged. Judging from the performance in the Foundation universe, 343 is definitely the combat effectiveness of level Godfather. In addition, the exchanged abnormal objects will be directly in the custody of the Foundation. That is to say, by that time, 343 false gods or gods have reached an agreement with the Foundation. Jiang Bai wants to use the power of 343. It is naturally quite easy. This is why Jiang Bai wants to exchange 343, and why 343 is so expensive in the exchange list. Because this is really equivalent to directly adding a level Godfather thug. Instead of such troublesome guys as the Crimson King and the Stag, even if he was contained, he didn't worry about whether they would break through the containment every day. But now that Ancient One, Odin, and Thanos are all eyeing the Foundation, Jiang Bai naturally has to be more cautious. It should be almost there now. Jiang Bai looked at the current blood pool. Most of the monsters had already left. Although the remaining monsters are being manufactured and are still crawling out in an endless stream, the number is much smaller than before. Looking at this scene, Jiang Bai felt that the time had come. It shouldn't be too noticeable to do it now, and after containing the blood pool, they can leave here without leaving a trace, and when they all set their sights on the monsters made by the blood pool, they will give Wani Angel to them. Lead away. Then Wani Angel was also contained, and then left quietly. This is the best option. The red right-handed team. According to previous observations, the current ability to move the blood pool is mainly because the blood pool has undergone some unknown mutations after it came to this world, making it able to use the power of space to move between different space nodes. Jump between. But we can also take advantage of this and move the blood pool directly to the barrier prepared in advance, so your task is to move the blood pool to the prepared barrier in the shortest possible time. In the enchantment, understand? Clear. Jiang Bai listened to the red right team's unanimous answer and nodded in satisfaction. I have to say that in this containment plan, apart from the red right hand, perhaps only two mobile task forces, Samsara and Hecate's spear, could do it. Because reincarnation is a half-god, half-mechanical mobile task force that can be resurrected infinitely. The spears of Hecate, on the other hand, are a mobile task force of pure thaumaturges. Both have the ability to space, and apart from them, the other mobile task forces are somewhat inferior. It is precisely because of this that Jiang Bai is quite satisfied with his decision to exchange for the red right hand this time. After receiving Jiang Bai's order, the red right-handed team, which was already eager to try, immediately took action. The thaumaturgy leads the way. The weapon user is responsible for protecting the thaumaturgy, and the reality bender will move the blood pool away from this place with me. The captain of the red right hand immediately made all the arrangements, and then began to approach the blood pool. Although most of the monsters around the blood pool have left to fight humans in Chitari's army, a small number of them have not left. The number is about 300 to 500. Although these numbers are not enough compared to the monster army outside. But in fact, with this number of monsters, even if a fully armed reinforcement encounters them, it will only be a dead end. Prior to this, even if Jiang Bai let the hammer drop, it would take a lot of effort to solve it. But now in the eyes of the red right hand, it is as if it does not exist. All of them directly ignored the existence of these monsters, but strode straight towards the blood pool. After the monster near the blood pool noticed the approach of the red right hand, it immediately roared and rushed towards the red right hand, with a hideous appearance. If ordinary people saw so many strange monsters rushing towards them, they would probably have been scared out of their wits. Even soldiers who have experienced many battles, such as the troops of General Ross who fought outside with monsters in the blood pool, they are also considered elites. Under the leadership of General Ross, they have fought in many places. But now when they encountered those monsters, they were also at a loss, and even collapsed directly under the oppression of these monsters. You must know that at that time, their number was still higher than that of monsters. However, right now, when facing monsters far more numerous than her own, Hong's right hand still looks normal and continues to approach these monsters. When the 5 thaumaturges saw the approaching monsters, they had already started using magic. There are no cumbersome mantras, no troublesome media, and no need to offer your belief and praise to a certain god. They simply raised their palms and fireballs appeared behind them, spinning and flying towards the monster in front of them, just like the roulette of a revolver, but their speed was higher than that of the monster. Just faster. Each fireball doesn't look big, but when it falls on the ground, it will immediately set off a burst of explosions, accompanied by ultra-high temperature flames. Like a huge amounts of Molotov cocktails, powerful the explosion and flames can clear all monsters within 10 meters with the fireball as the center almost every time. Even if there are some monsters with strong vitality that are not killed by the blast, they will be burned to death due to the high temperature of the flames. It's just an unknown thaumaturgy, and even a B-level thaumaturgy. A-level thaumaturgists and reality benders who are stronger than thaumaturgists haven't even made a move yet. Seeing this scene, Jiang Bai finally understood why when it comes to the Foundation's mobile task force, many people will say that reincarnation may be the strongest, Wang Zhaozhao Ganji. Because their abilities are really powerful, this ability is far from being something that can be defeated only by relying on equipment and personal consciousness. So strong? These people shouldn't be mutants, right? I've seen some mutants with flame powers, but their flames don't have such power at all. Ada Wong and Natasha Romanoff watched this scene, and they were all surprised by the strength of Hong's right hand. Although they had overestimated the strength of Hong's right hand as much as possible before, they never thought that Hong's right hand could be so powerful. I feel that even among the superheroes registered in SHIELD, there are probably quite a few of them, not as good as the members of the Red Right Hand. The weight of Natasha Romanoff's words is not ordinary. You must know that for the current beautiful country, superhero is almost the most critical part of maintaining social stability, even more important than the army needs to be spared. But now Natasha Romanoff said that many superheroes are not the opponents of Red Right Hand members. What kind of evaluation is this? But Jiang Bai thinks this evaluation is reasonable. After all, many of the superheroes are the existence of the limit of ordinary people. Through their own training, they have reached heights that ordinary people cannot reach, but in the final analysis, they are just entering the world. That's all. But thaumaturges are all existences who have learned systematic magic, and they are no longer ordinary people. Under the suppression of the thaumaturgy, a road to the blood pool was opened soon. The captain of the Red Right Hand was just about to take people to contain the blood pool, but suddenly a shield flew in the distance and stopped in front of them. Sorry, we Avengers are taking over here now. Captain America landed in front of Red Right Hand from the sky, and other Avengers members followed closely behind him.
The end?
Chapter 82. Captain America held the shield, standing in front of Red's right hand like an unbreakable iron wall. Tony was flying high in the sky with a person in his hand. But it's not Thor, but Dr. Hulk Banner. Thor had basically recovered now and was able to take care of himself, and his full blow did not kill Wani Angel, which also made him fall into self-doubt. So now I'm still adjusting my mood, and I haven't come to join in the fun. So Tony caught Dr. Banner, who was watching the play while hiding on the road. Avengers, it looks much more shabby than before. Jiang Bai watched these people appearing in front of him through the monitor and couldn't help shaking his head. The members of the first-generation Avengers Alliance should be Iron Man Tony, Dr. Hulk Banner, Thor, Captain America Steve, Hawkeye Clint, and Black Widow Natasha Romanoff. Originally, the organization was full of 6 people, but now it can't even get enough people. The reason is also very simple, because of the existence of Jiang Bai. Natasha Romanoff was sent by Fury to Jiang Bai as an undercover agent, but the final result was that Natasha Romanoff directly became Jiang Bai's person and betrayed SHIELD. So naturally she would not join Avengers. In addition, Hawkeye was originally supposed to be after Loki's Skycarrier. After a series of things, he finally got rid of Loki's control and joined Avengers. But because of the appearance of Wani Angel, Loki did not go to the Skycarrier, which led to the lack of subsequent plots, and Hawkeye naturally did not come back. Originally, there were only 6 Avengers alliances in the first generation, and these are only 4 people. Among them, Thor has not officially decided to join the Avengers Alliance. No matter how you look at it, the Avengers Alliance is much weaker than the original one. However, it seems that Captain America has no such awareness at all, and is still doing what it wants because of justice. Even though Jiang Bai doesn't know, what kind of justice is there to prevent him from containing the blood pool? Everyone in the Foundation, I'm sorry, this place will be taken over by us Avengers from now on. I, Steve, assure you, I will definitely solve this threat thoroughly and prevent similar things from happening in the future. Captain America looked at Hong's right hand seriously and assured them. But this made Jiang Bai, who was sitting in the car, couldn't help laughing. You really deserve to be from the beautiful country. Jiang Bai smiled and shook his head, with a hint of disdain and contempt for Captain America 770 in his eyes. To be honest, Jiang Bai's perception of Captain America is not bad. It is a very standard American hero, with almost all romantic heroism. But at the same time, there are also problems that can be seen in all beautiful Chinese people. Arrogant, unable to see his limits clearly. Perhaps Captain America is indeed strong enough. Obviously his own combat power is not too strong, but he can rely on some luck and his own will to defeat many opponents who are stronger than him, even outrageously powerful. But in Jiang Bai's view, this is also a ridiculous place. Will? Faith? Are these things useful in front of abnormal objects? Useless. Unable to understand. Unable to comprehend the existence of these anomalies. Then you are working so hard, no matter how determined you are, you can't solve the threat from abnormal objects in the end. That's why Jiang Bai thinks Captain America is ridiculous. He doesn't even know what the blood pool is or what it does, so he dares to promise himself here. Saying that something like this will never happen again in the future? Who gave him the courage to say that? At this time, the captain of the Red Right Hand also sent an inquiry to Jiang Bai. President, what should we do? After all, it was the first time for Red Right Hand to carry out a mission, and he didn't know anything about the Avengers in front of him, but he seemed to know something about the Foundation, so he decided to ask Jiang Bai's opinion first. What should the Foundation do if it encounters obstacles from other organizations during the containment process? Jiang Bai did not directly answer the captain of the Red Right Hand, but instead asked the other party a question. But it is also the answer. Because it is stipulated in the Foundation's regulations, in the process of containing abnormal objects, if the Foundation encounters obstruction from other organizations, they will repel the opponent and continue to contain it. Do it. The captain of the Red Right Hand looked at the Avengers' side, and then let out a low drink. A large number of fireball planes dropped bombs, and the Avengers attacked in the past. Tony hastily threw Dr. Banner aside, and immediately flew to Captain America's side. With both hands, arc pulse cannons shot out from his palms, attacking the flying fireballs. Although the arc pulse gun is not as powerful as the thaumaturge's fireball, it can detonate the fireball. For a while, the heads of both sides are all BCCG, flames soaring into the sky, and the sound of explosions continues continuously. Weapon user, get on. Following the order of Captain Red Right Hand, the weapon users who had been guarding the thaumaturgy before all pulled out their weapons and rushed towards Captain America. At the same time as they acted, the sorcerer also immediately cast some augmented thaumaturgy on them, such as windshield, stamina increase, and other spells. It can make their combat effectiveness stronger and their safety guaranteed. The weapon users of the Red Right Hand are all fighters who are proficient in martial arts and fighting with weapons. Their agreed equipment is a pistol specially made in-house by the Foundation and a one-handed knife that is also specially made. 10 red right-handed weapon users quickly approached Captain America. When they were more than 10 meters away from Captain America, 10 of them drew their pistols together and fired a round of salvo at Captain America. Captain America immediately put the shield in front of him, blocking their shots. Dang, dang, dang. A series of sounds rang in Captain America's ears, as if they blocked all their bullets, but Captain America always felt that something was wrong. Only 9 rings, but there were 10 of them? When Captain America was wondering, suddenly, out of the corner of his eye, he noticed a bullet bypassing his shield, turning a corner and hitting his temple. Is it gunfighting? Captain America immediately understood what was going on, and quickly turned around, trying to avoid the shot. But it was still too late. The bullet had already arrived in front of him. Boom! With the sound of a bullet hitting a human body, Captain America fell down. Tony, who was still struggling to resist the thaumaturgy's bombardment, couldn't help being stunned when he saw this scene. But with this stunned effort, 3 fireballs fell directly in front of Tony, and then huge amounts of explosions when Tony was thrown flying. Warning, the body damage exceeds 50%. Please use it carefully. It's time for JRVS. I carefully reminded Tony that you must use the armor carefully, and don't turn this armor into your iron coffin. But how can the current Tony manage these things? Dang even hurriedly looked at Captain America, only to see that Captain America was struggling and wanted to get up from the ground. And on his forehead, a streak of blood and a bullet on the ground could still be seen. Captain America is a person who has been injected with super soldier serum, and his body has actually reached the level of bulletproof. Ordinary bullets will not cause any damage to him at all, but the bullets of the Red Right Hand are specially made by the Foundation, engraved with thaumaturgic spells such as acceleration and explosion, which are equivalent to enchanted bullets. The power is naturally completely different from ordinary bullets. Now after Captain America was shot, although he was not directly killed, his head was still dizzy, and it was even difficult for him to stand up. And it was even worse for Tony now. After his battle armor was blown by 3 fireballs, the damage has now exceeded 50%. Although he can still fight, his combat effectiveness has also been affected. Especially in terms of energy reserves, I am afraid that it is constantly leaking, and it is conservatively estimated that they can fight for 10 minutes at most. It can be said that after a face-to-face effort, Avengers was beaten to pieces by the Red Right Hand. But that's also understandable, after all the Avengers as a whole. Currently the strongest should be Dr. Hulk Banner and Thor, but the key is that neither of these 2 people has made a move now. Dr. Banner is hiding from the sidelines to watch the show at the moment, full of worry and panic. As for Thor, let alone, I still don't know where to rest and recover my strength. You are actually an anomaly. The captain of the Red Right Hand looked at the defeated Captain America and Tony and said in a flat tone. In fact, if you really want to say it, Captain America and Tony are considered anomalies to a certain extent, and they are also objects that can be contained. Fortunately, Tony is just a scientific research genius. The JRVIS he made, as well as these battle armors, are considered anomalous objects, but he himself is still a normal person in the judgment of the Foundation. But Captain America is different. Captain America has been injected with super soldier serum, and to put it bluntly, it is a product of genetic mutation. According to the Foundation's identification standards, an existence like Captain America is completely anomalous and should be contained. It's just that under the background of this world, there are still a large number of mutants. So for Captain America, who have mutation power, the containment judgment is relatively loose. It is possible to contain it, but it is not necessary. Captain Red Right Hand didn't mean anything else when he said this. He just thought that Captain America and the others could also be taken in. But these words are more like a threat in the ears of Captain America. If you continue to make trouble like this, we will not be polite. The origin of your foundation is unknown. Is it good or bad for this world? No one knows. Although you have saved me before, I do owe you a favor in this regard, but now it is for world peace. With justice, I must not back down. Although Captain America is now injured, it has been placed in the hands of Hong's right hand. But he still has an attitude of never backing down and must guard the justice and thoughts in his heart. No matter when and where, and what dangers you face, you can put your responsibilities and obligations first. Maybe this is the charm of Captain America? It is also the reason why he can still be sought after and missed by countless people all over the beautiful country after decades of disappearance. But just like what Jiang Bai said before, in front of abnormal objects, these so-called beliefs and wills are really worthless. Because this thing can't make you avoid the killing logic of abnormal objects, nor can it prevent you from being threatened by abnormal objects. There is only one way to defeat the anomalous object, and that is to understand it and find a way to restrain it from its settings. Only in this way, the regiment is going to defeat these foreign objects. Instead of doing certain things here with a passion, or even interfering with other people's actions. The ignorant are often the saddest existence. Red Right Hand, when the captain heard what Captain America said, he just said something lightly, and then strode straight past Captain America. From the beginning to the end, he never cared about Captain America. Nor did he want to do anything to Captain America. Because there is no need, the most important thing now is to contain the blood pool. This is the order Jiang Bai gave them, and it is also the most important thing to do right now. However, just as he walked past Captain America, a hand stopped in front of him. The Red Right Hand captain turned to look at Captain America. At this moment, Captain America has recovered a little bit of strength, and his whole body is much more sober. Ignorance? Perhaps in your eyes, I am indeed an ignorant person, but I also have my understanding and understanding. You people of the Foundation, from appearing to doing things, everything about you is weird. If, as you said, you must know their information if you want to fight against those monsters, then why didn't your Foundation make this information public? Come out. Captain America raised his head and sternly questioned Captain Red Right, but at the same time, he seemed to be questioning Jiang Bai through Captain Red Right. But in Jiang Bai's view, all this is simply a joke. Make the information about abnormal objects public, then let SHIELD enjoy the benefits? Or let those organizations hidden in the dark start using abnormal objects to create greater chaos? The water in this world is not as deep as a mere Captain America can imagine. Starting from this New York war, the Earth will officially be involved in a huge chaos called multidimensional space. In this world, choosing to publish information on abnormal objects? This is completely suicidal. But Captain America doesn't know this. People are still questioning. So I can't trust you. I can't trust that you will really contain these abnormal objects. I can't trust that you will really protect this world. We don't need your trust. The captain of the Red Right Hand said something to Captain America indifferently and then raised his hand. The power of a reality bender can actually be released without any physical effort. But the captain of the Red Right Hand did this to tell Captain America that he should get out of the way now, or Captain America would have to face his attack. But obviously this superhero, who is devoted to justice, has no intention of getting out of the way. He vows to defend the justice in his heart to the death. Dr. Banner, who was hiding in the dark at the moment, looked at this scene, already anxious like an ant on a hot pot. He knew that if this continues, Captain America will die. He also wanted to go out to help, but when he thought that he would be controlled by the angry monster and destroy everything around him, Dr. Banner didn't have the courage to stand up. Tion went to help them. What to do? What to do? If this continues, Captain America will die. Dr. Banner was anxiously thinking about the solution. Seeing that Captain America was about to die under the attack of the Red Right-Handed Captain, Dr. Banner was heartbroken and raised his hand to slap himself. Loud slaps echoed in the space. Then, the Green Giant rushed out and came straight to Captain America.
The end?
Chapter 83. Dr. Banner turned into the Hulk after all. He couldn't just watch Captain America die in front of his eyes, because they were companions. Moreover, Captain America has fought for the beautiful country for so many years. Dr. Banner grew up listening to the heroic stories of Captain America. I believe that more than 90% of the children across the country are familiar with the heroic deeds of Captain America. Perhaps for them, this is just a story. But among them, who didn't yearn for and dream of becoming a hero like Captain America when they were young? Everyone has a heroic dream, and Dr. Banner's heroic dream starts here. A flash of thunder flashed from the void and landed directly on the top of Captain America. The power of powerful thunder will not be weaker than Thor's thunder light at all. Captain America looked at the thunder light falling towards him, neither dodged nor dodged, just stood there and watched the scene quietly, with a natural expression and his usual expression. He has accepted his fate. In his opinion, the Foundation really cannot be trusted, so he expressed his opinion. If he died because of this, it would be a helpless sacrifice on the road of fighting against evil. Isn't this the most suitable way to die for a hero's ending? So Captain America didn't care about it, and was even full of calm, as if he had been waiting for this moment to come. However, when Captain America was about to die under the lightning, Hulk suddenly rushed up and pulled Captain America away. The powerful thunder light fell on the Hulk mercilessly, and the intense pain made him open his mouth and let out a roar. Even the rough-skinned and thick-skinned Hulk was torn apart and bleeding profusely when faced with the thunder created by the Captain of the Red Right Hand. The intense pain stimulated the Hulk's anger, and his eyes began to glow red with anger, but soon this anger was suppressed by his reason again. Both Captain America and Tony looked at the Hulk in surprise. Banner, are you shooting your anger under control? The Hulk is definitely the most powerful existence among the three of them at present, but it is also the most dangerous one at the same time. Because Banner will lose his mind due to anger after turning into the Hulk. But now, even though the Hulk was attacked and injured, he was not consumed by anger and reason, which made them very surprised and happy at the same time. Because if Banner can really control his anger and become a real Hulk, then they can also have a powerful helper. This is definitely great news for the Avengers Alliance, which is currently quite lacking in combat power. Another genetic variant? The Captain of the Red Right Hand looked at Banner. His expression didn't change at all. In his opinion, this is just another human being with a genetic mutation similar to Captain America, and there is no difference other than that. But the Captain of the Red Right Hand also knows that the Hulk and Captain America are completely different in strength. Therefore, after seeing the Hulk, the Captain of the Red Right Hand is ready to fight. As long as Banner shows any signs of attack, he will immediately bring Banner down, but what happened next was something no one expected. Sorry. The Hulk may go to war with the Red Right Hand directly, and even both sides are ready. However, at this moment, the Hulk directly bowed his head to the Red Right Hand and apologized. It's like a child who has done something wrong and is being criticized by the teacher. Looking at this scene, others said it was the Avengers and the Red Right Hand. Even Jiang Bai, who was watching the play hidden behind the scenes, was full of doubts and puzzlement at the moment. Natasha Romanoff and the second daughter of King Ada looked at Jiang Bai even more incomprehensibly. Master, why did Hulk apologize to us? Really, totally incomprehensible. Natasha Romanoff already knew something about Dr. Banner before she came to Jiang Bai as an undercover agent. Ever since he became the Hulk due to the failure of the gamma ray experiment, Dr. Banner has been doing many dangerous things because of his inability to control his anger, including the destruction of urban buildings, roads, and various facilities, causing billions of dollars in losses. At least 500 casualties were also caused directly or indirectly. All of this is enough to prove that the Hulk is an extremely dangerous existence. But now, the Hulk is actually apologizing, and he still apologized to the person who hurt him. How could this prevent them from being full of doubts about it? After Jiang Bai thought for a while, he gave a possibility. It should be because he can control his anger now? In Jiang Bai's view, this should be the most reasonable explanation. Because Hulk can control his anger, he now has the thinking of a normal person and will not do some extreme things because of his anger. But for this answer, the second daughter is still absolutely unreasonable. If it's just because he can control his anger, we can understand that he won't do anything to Hong's right hand. But he was the one who got hurt. Why should he apologize? The two girls looked at Jiang Bai curiously, as if hoping that Jiang Bai could give them a reasonable answer. But Jiang Bai also shook his head. I'm not a roundworm in Dr. Banner's stomach. How would I know what he thinks? Jiang Bai smiled indifferently as he said, and then wanted to let the Red Right Hand start acting immediately, not to waste time with these Avengers guys here. But at this moment, Banner spoke up. I believe that you are good people, I believe that the foundation that saved millions of people in Raccoon City is definitely not an evil organization, and your president once saved me from the huge amounts of lizards, so I will not fight with you, your enemies. The Hulk looked at the captain of the Red Right Hand sincerely, and then continued, if possible, I hope to give me a chance to get to know you better. This is a request, and the other party is requesting a chance to understand the foundation. Originally, this kind of thing should be rejected directly without even thinking about it. But now, after all, Jiang Bai is still watching. How should the decision be handed over to Jiang Bai? So the captain of Red Right Hand immediately contacted Jiang Bai and asked for his opinion. President, this genetic variant is asking for a certain connection with our foundation. Do you need to agree? Jiang Bai actually saw the Hulk's request, and because of the Hulk's request, he is thinking about one thing now. Should I try to form a mobile task force composed of abnormal objects? It's like the last hope in Pandora's box. These two mobile task forces are a very special experimental plan formulated by the Foundation after some incidents. Let anomalies contain anomalies. Especially some abnormal objects, they are actually a human being with an extreme personality in essence, but they still have some powerful powers. If these anomalous objects are trained to become a mobile task force that can accept command, then they will definitely become a sharp sword in the hands of the Foundation. With this purpose in mind, the Foundation formed the first mobile task force composed of humanoid anomalies. Pandora's Box, and there is currently a member of Pandora's Box in Jiang Bai's containment. Anomaly 076 Abel. In order to meet his goal of fighting against the strong, Abel agreed to join Pandora's Box and made considerable contributions in the subsequent battles. Especially in the mechanical descending event, it turned the world around and solved the crisis that almost destroyed the entire human race. Although Pandora's Box was disbanded because of this, and Abel was also considered to be the culprit of this crisis because of the restart of the mechanic god, all the memories were cleared to a certain extent. But in Jiang Bai's view, Abel's behavior is enough to prove that he can cooperate and is a qualified member of the Foundation. You must know that members of the Foundation who can solve such a major crisis are rare in the history of the Foundation. Perhaps only Dr. James Martin Talleyrand, Dr. Zhongshan Mary, Dr. Apocalypse, who led me to die with the supreme divinity among all things, can have more excellent results than this? So after hearing Hulk's words that were obviously very friendly and curious to the Foundation, Jiang Bai was planning whether to make Hulk a member of the Foundation and began to plan to form the special Pandora's Box. Mobile Task Force? Send him to 36 Vinewood tomorrow. After much consideration, Jiang Bai decided to give the Hulk this chance. After hearing what Jiang Bai said, Natasha Romanoff and King Ada immediately understood Jiang Bai's plan. You want to poach SHIELD again? Natasha Romanoff looked at Jiang Bai strangely. Including herself, Jiang Bai has already poached the corner of SHIELD once. If the Hulk is dug over again this time, then SHIELD will be really uncomfortable. Not to mention the loss of two main forces, the strength of the Foundation has also been greatly improved. It will be more difficult to deal with in the future. One ebbs and another. Are you poaching? Jiang Bai looked around Natasha Romanoff with a strange look in his eyes. Didn't you deliver it yourself? You. Natasha Romanoff glared at Jiang Bai with a reddish complexion when she heard this, and then said nothing further. Seeing this, Jiang Bai just smiled lightly, then continued to observe the situation on the other side of the blood pool. After getting Jiang Bai's answer, the captain of the Red Right Hand raised his head and said to the Hulk, tomorrow at 36 Vinewood. Just after finishing this sentence, the captain of the Red Right Hand led his team members to continue marching towards the blood pool. Captain America wanted to go up to stop it, but was held back by the Hulk. Banner Captain America stared at the Hulk angrily, not at all grateful for the Hulk saving him, but instead questioned the Hulk's previous actions. What do you want to do? Why do you ask for the contact information of their foundation? Do you want to join their foundation? Captain America snapped at the Hulk. In his opinion, the Foundation is an organization that is absolutely untrustworthy. Together with those strange objects of unknown origin, they have messed up the whole of New York. And in the battle in Raccoon City, although the Foundation saved many people, but in Captain America's view, all of this must come at a price. The Foundation must be secretly planning something. Zero, just like what Captain America said before, if the Foundation really wants to protect all mankind, then the easiest way is to release all the information they know about these abnormal objects. In this way, people can know how to deal with those abnormal objects and avoid danger under the Foundation's popular science, so that this is the most correct way to greatly increase the chance of survival, instead of talking about protecting human beings while planning something ulterior. So Captain America doesn't trust the Foundation. But the Hulk didn't think so much. He just simply thought the Foundation was a just organization. All I know is that he saved millions of people in Raccoon City and our lives, and that's enough. Hulk slowly shook his head at Captain America and then continued, maybe what you said is right. I really don't know enough about the Foundation, but no matter what the truth is what, I want to see it for myself. The Hulk's words silenced Captain America completely. The words have already been said for this sake, and Captain America also understands that he cannot change the Hulk's mind, so he can only keep silent. Tony on the side also came to Captain America at this moment and also persuaded Captain America. Steve, this is not the first time I have been in contact with the Foundation. When I was captured by those terrorist organizations, I also encountered abnormal objects. At that time, I was also rescued by the Foundation. Tony also seemed to recall the situation in the Middle East at that time. In order to inquire about the Foundation's information, he was almost shot twice by the other party. Thinking about it now, the courage at that time was really not ordinary. Tony smiled lightly and shook his head, then continued, they are at least a serious organization working hard to protect human beings. As for more things we don't jump to conclusions until you understand it. As Tony spoke, his eyes fell on Hong's right hand who was holding the blood pool, but when he saw what Hong's right hand was doing, he was completely dumbfounded. What? What are they doing? Hulk and Captain America also immediately looked up to the red right-hand side. All the monsters created by the blood pool and rushing towards Hong's right hand disappeared the moment they approached the members of Hong's right hand. That's right. Not death, nor any other attack. It just disappeared directly, as if those creatures didn't exist in this world at all. Reality bender powers, 10 conceptual powers. If they want to do it, they can do it. As soon as the thought moves, the matter has been completed. This is their power, a terrifying power that is almost omnipotent. When they came to the vicinity of the blood pool, they didn't see any movement, they just stood there quietly. But those monsters that crawled out of the blood pool would all appear in an instant, then disappeared directly, and Captain America even vaguely felt that even the pool of blood seemed to be disappearing. Target Anomaly 354, codenamed Blood Pool, the containment mission of the Red Right-Hand Squad begins.
The end.
Chapter 84. The power of a reality bender is also very simple to say, that is, it can distort reality. Everything that exists becomes non-existent and non-existent becomes existence. As long as you think in your heart, you can decide whether you can do it according to your strength. And now they're all going to this one thing. Transfer this blood pool to another place. It was located in a place that Jiang Bai specially asked them to prepare, in a barrier that could seal off space made by a magician. Even if Shueqi has the ability to jump in space nodes, as long as Jiang Bai blocks the space, Shueqi will not be able to leave this place. This is what Jiang Bai had already planned. It is also the only way to effectively contain the blood pool. The only problem is that this kind of containment is actually very expensive, because the barrier needs to be maintained, which means that at least 2 thaumaturges need to guard the barrier at all times. The Foundation originally had less thaumaturges. In the Foundation universe, the GOC with the most thaumaturges is the Global Occult Coalition, a competitor belonging to the Foundation, similar to the current SHIELD. So for the Foundation, as long as it is not 2 important anomalies, they will not let thaumaturges be responsible for containment and follow-up management. But Jiang Bai is different, because Jiang Bai has seen 2 things in the exchange interface: Longguai Society and International Comprehensive Thaumatology Center. These 2 organizations are the management center for thaumaturges only for Dragon Kingdom, and the management center for all thaumaturges outside Dragon Kingdom. As long as they can be exchanged, they will be able to train thaumaturges continuously. In this way, the Foundation can have a large number of thaumaturges like the Global Occult Coalition. Originally, Jiang Bai thought that he could only exchange the things that the Foundation had, but now it seems that not only the Foundation, but everything in the universe that belongs to the Foundation in general can be exchanged. Then in this way, I can completely create a super Foundation that is stronger than the original Foundation, and all forces are gathered together, an unprecedented super Foundation. That's why Jiang Bai made such a containment plan that required thaumaturgy. With the constant increase in the power of the Red Right Hand's reality bender, the blood pool has also changed from just a little disappearing trend to a translucent state, and it seems that it will be transferred away soon. But it was also at this time that Jiang Bai seemed to see something that was not quite right. In the blood pool, there seems to be something else? Huh? There seems to be something in the blood pool? This scene was quickly noticed by Natasha, Romanoff, and the others, and they were also talking to Jiang Bai in doubt. King Ada looked at the things in the blood pool and frowned involuntarily. It appears to be the body of an elderly man, but it is highly decomposed. Elderly? Highly decayed? Jiang Bai was still wondering what this thing was. Now that King Ada said this, he immediately reacted. I said how the blood pool has the ability to move in space, so it's because of him. King Ada and Natasha Romanoff both looked at Jiang Bai curiously, and they could see it now. Jiang Bai obviously has a great understanding of this rotten old man, and even the sudden appearance of the blood pool has a lot to do with this old man. Unusual Object, 106 Scary Old Man. Unusual Object, 106, codenamed Scary Old Man. This is an elderly humanoid with a highly decomposed whole body. Usually, the degree of rot and the parts of rot observed by him vary from person to person, and he is not very sensitive. He usually stays in one place all day, quietly waiting for the prey to appear, and he has a portable space like a nest or a nest. He will attack his prey until he completely loses the power to resist, such as tearing the prey's tendons, heart, and other major organs. When the prey has completely lost the power to resist, he will drag the prey into his lair, a pocket dimension among them, and then eat each other. After eating once, the terrifying old man will go into hibernation and will start hunting again when he feels hungry. From the experimental point of view, the scary old man prefers humans in the age group of 10 to 25 as prey. The reason that definitely makes the scary old man dangerous is because the scary old man can ignore all physical attacks. All powerless attacks will pass through the body of the terrifying old man without causing any damage to him, and abilities such as concept erasure and reality distortion can only affect him and cannot destroy him. In other words, he is an existence similar to 682's indestructible nature. Definitely what Jiang Bai really remembers is still the scary old man's lair, that dimensional space. That space is full of the excrement of the scary old man, and the scary old man also has a kind of excrement like mucus, and his predation method is to use this mucus to touch the prey. Then the prey will undergo a chemical breakdown, somewhat similar to the rust, decay, and final breakdown of metal, and this method is harmful to all living organisms. According to the Foundation's archives, this should be an act of digestion. That is to say, this kind of mucus is something like gastric juice, but from the appearance point of view, it is more like human excrement. Therefore, some people say that the scary old man is a thing covered in excrement, and his lair is also full of excrement. Thinking of such an existence that is attacking and trying to pull itself into a disgusting space, it is estimated that any person will feel physical discomfort, but because of the scary old man, he is a kind of existence with space nature after all. So when the scary old man entered the blood pool due to some reasons, perhaps due to some unknown change, the blood pool can use the spatial properties of the scary old man to move among the space nodes in various places. This is the only reasonable explanation that Jiang Bai can think of. Contain the blood pool with all my strength. The scary old man is making plans after the blood pool is contained. The scary old man, like 343, is an object that cannot be fully contained. Because it is futile to use any means to contain the terrifying old man, he will directly pass through the barriers and leave the room where he is contained. But because of his restless nature, the Foundation can still limit his range of activities to a certain area. In comparison, the scary old man is not as dangerous as the blood pool. So Jiang Bai asked the authority to contain the blood pool first, and then he was thinking about the scary old man. Yes. After receiving Jiang Bai's order, the members of the Red Right Hand, who were a little worried because they saw the scary old man inside the blood pool, immediately took action. With their concerted efforts, Air Chi soon completely disappeared. Just like the monsters created by those blood pools before, they are completely gone. It's just that the difference is that those monsters were directly distorted by reality to deny their existence, while the blood pool was sent to the barrier. After doing all this, the members of the Red Right Hand didn't care about themselves and immediately became serious against the scary old man. But the terrifying old man disappeared after the blood pool disappeared. Disappeared? Seeing that the old man dinosaur had disappeared, the Red Right-Handed team immediately got into serious battle. They are carefully guarding against that the terrifying old man may suddenly appear from other places and attack them. But nothing similar happened. The scary old man seemed to have completely disappeared, and he had no intention of attacking the Red Right-Hand team at all. Looking at them looking like they are facing a big enemy, Tony and the others don't understand what's going on. They all thought that the disappearance of the scary old man was also done by the Red Right-Hand squad, just like they made those monsters and the blood pool disappear before. But only Jiang Bai and the Red Right-Hand team knew that the scary old man disappeared directly and had nothing to do with them. Congratulations to the host for successfully containing Abnormal Object 354 and rewarded Abnormal Object 105. When hearing this reward, Jiang Bai was obviously a little surprised, because he had been thinking about whether he should plan to create a mobile task force composed entirely of anomalous objects, and now he came again and rewarded 10 of his members. Anomaly 105. I remember it should be called Iris Thompson? Information about Iris flashed through Jiang Bai's mind. Iris Thompson is a beautiful girl with blonde hair and blue eyes, who carries a Polaroid camera with her, and she can use the photos taken by this camera to adjust things at will. For example, put the house upside down, put the car in the sky. To put it simply, her ability is somewhat similar to Quick PS, but the difference is that when she does this, the scene in the photo really changes accordingly. And she is also a member of Pandora's Box. In the original universe of the Foundation, she also met 076 Abel and had a race. In the end, when she used ability, she outperformed Abel, which also made Abel worry about this matter. As long as Iris is not allowed to touch the Polaroid camera, she is just an ordinary girl, nothing special. But once she has that camera, she can do incredible things. Therefore, the Foundation generally forbids her to touch that Polaroid. But perhaps it was also because of this that she would often run away with that Polaroid, but because she was just a little girl, almost every run ended in failure. Later, after the plan of Pandora's Box was abandoned, she also re-entered the captive asylum, and she was considered a poor little girl. Now that Iris already exists, it's time to start the Pandora's Box plan. Originally, the Pandora's Box project was only under consideration, but now because of the arrival of 105 Iris, Jiang Bai finally decided to implement it. President, Target 100 and SIX, a scary old man has disappeared. What should we do now? The captain of the Red Right Hand also sent an inquiry to Jiang Bai at this time. Jiang Bai could clearly hear a trace of apology from his tone. After all, the scary old man disappeared in front of them. As members of the Foundation whose responsibility is to contain these abnormal objects, they let an abnormal object disappear in front of them. This is definitely a huge amount of mistake. So they are not very emotional now, and they can even obviously feel a little bit of loss. But Jiang Bai didn't pay much attention, or he thought of another possibility. I don't blame you for this matter. If I'm not wrong, I'm afraid there are other people behind this. It's too self-blaming for you to be out of sync. Other people? Hearing Jiang Bai's words, the captain of the Red Right Hand immediately flashed many powerful organizations recorded by the Foundation in his mind. These organizations are not the small fights here in New York. Behind these organizations, there is at least one figure of supreme divinity. For example, the Church of the Broken God, the Sarkic Sect, and the Serpent's Hand. Standing behind them is the supreme divinity, a powerful existence capable of restarting the universe and opening chaos in a single thought. Maybe it's the existence you imagined, or maybe it's just a coincidence created by some forces, but no matter what it is, it shows that our Foundation has been targeted by 0.1. Jiang Bai said with a serious face. He thought about it for a long time just now, but he still couldn't figure it out. Why would the terrifying old man be with the blood pool? Generally speaking, there is no connection between abnormal objects. Even if there is, it is basically a relationship of attacking and killing each other. But the scary old man obviously reached a certain degree of symbiotic relationship with the blood pool, which is very confusing. Especially when the scary old man disappeared. Jiang Bai had a feeling. Perhaps someone has discovered the existence of anomalous objects and started to use them to do something. After all, this world is not simple. There are many kinds of demons and gods. It is normal for some of them to find abnormal objects, and Jiang Bai will not feel anything about it. But what if those powerful and intelligent anomalies are doing things by themselves? For example, the Broken God, such as Aldabas, and even Ian who controlled Aldabas, and poisonous snakes. These supreme divinities, if they really want to do something. Well, all of today's may be just the beginning. They just came to say hello to the old friend of the Foundation. Thinking of these, Jiang Bai felt that his current situation might be more critical than he imagined. We must bring all aspects of the plan to the daily routine as soon as possible. Since someone is behind the scenes, we must be prepared to deal with it. Jiang Bai took a deep breath to calm himself down, and then ordered the captain of the Red Right Hand, "Do it now. Contain Wani Angel. Everything is going according to plan."
The end.
Chapter 85. Under Jiang Bai's order, the Red Right Hand squad disappeared almost in the blink of an eye. They all teleported out under the power of the reality bender. Only Captain America and the others stood in place, watching all this with a dull expression. They still failed to contain the blood pool this time. Not only that, but they seem to have completely different views on Jiang Bai and the entire Foundation. It seems that they have been greatly impacted now. Natasha Romanoff couldn't help sighing when she looked at the well-known Captain America, which was longed for by children all over the country, but now looked at a loss. Isn't this a normal thing? Jiang Bai looked at Natasha Romanoff with a definite look, then said slowly, "He is old. The world is not what it was before he was frozen." Jiang Bai will never underestimate Captain America, because in Jiang Bai's view, Captain America is absolutely excellent as a superhero. But at the same time, as an abnormal person who resists, he fails. Can't understand, and blindly believe in yourself. Always like to use those romantic heroism to accomplish something. This is not advisable. And it is also very ridiculous so in Jiang Bai's view. The world after being invaded by abnormal objects is no longer suitable for an old superhero like Captain America. Especially now there may be some powerful anomalies that have begun to adapt to this world, and secretly want to do something to the old friend of the Foundation. In this case, Captain America, which cannot keep up with the times, is destined to be abandoned by the times. Jiang Bai said, "Let people drive to understand the underground directly." Now he had to go outside and see what was going on. On the other side, at the moment inside the Vengeance Alliance, Captain America is looking at Dr. Banner, who is transformed back, with a look of complexity in his eyes. "Dr. Banner, are you serious about leaving Avengers for the Foundation?" Captain America looked at Dr. Banner with a look of incomprehension. He really couldn't figure out why Dr. Banner was willing to go to the Foundation on the 12th. If it really wants to protect the Earth and human beings, wouldn't it be more appropriate for SHIELD to be an organization recognized by the government and the public? But Dr. Banner also has his own views and thoughts on this. "The Foundation has always made me very curious. I have seen many things from them that I have never seen before. They never rely on funding from any country, and they have their own preparations for many threats and plan. Whether it was the chaos in Hell's Kitchen last time, or the Raccoon City Resident Evil, and the current New York War, they were able to prepare in advance and take action at the best time. These are things we have never done, so I want to learn more about the existence of the Foundation." In fact, Dr. Banner said so much, but the meaning is quite simple. The Foundation is more of an organization that exists purely to protect humanity than SHIELD. They will arrive quickly when the danger occurs, then solve the problem here, and leave as soon as the problem is solved. It will not be like SHIELD, which constantly publicizes to the outside and flaunts itself. Every time SHIELD solves a problem, it will publicize its success to the outside world, letting everyone know that SHIELD has once again protected human beings, and use this as a bargaining chip to allow the Parliament to increase the funding for their shield. Perhaps this is indeed understandable. After all, upholding justice is not just lip service. It requires a lot of capital investment. Otherwise, how do these weapons and equipment come from? How could these agents work for you? Every action means that funds are being burned. So if you don't get paid for what you have won after solving the problem, then this is equivalent to making a loss-making business. But because of this, Dr. Banner always feels that SHIELD is not really an organization that upholds justice. Because his actual control is in the hands of the Parliament can directly control the personnel changes within SHIELD, and even appoint and remove Fury as the director. This is also a major disadvantage of SHIELD. After all, his existence is still an official department. But once it becomes an official department, it means the entanglement of various interests. Who can tell clearly that SHIELD's future actions are really to maintain justice, protect the world? Maybe it will become a sharp knife used by officials to accomplish some of their purposes. This is not the first time that something similar has happened, but every action of the Foundation is obvious to all. They all come here spontaneously, and they don't have any utilitarian purpose. After containing these dangerous existences, they will leave immediately. From this point of view, the Foundation is really more of an Asgardian character than SHIELD. Moreover, Dr. Banner himself is a person who often deals with the authorities, especially after he became the Hulk. This period of wandering life made him feel bad for the authorities. Under such circumstances, it is understandable for Dr. Banner to want to join the Foundation. Captain America looked at Dr. Banner and said after a moment of silence, "I will keep this matter a secret for you, and I believe you will definitely come back in the end." Captain America said with a serious face. He doesn't think that Dr. Banner will really join the Foundation, because in his opinion, the Foundation is also a selfish organization. Even the Foundation's selfishness might be the biggest organization he's seen so far. I've seen many organizations like the Foundation that don't ask for anything in return and are determined to protect human beings and the world. I also believe that they were really protecting justice, but in the end, I always found that their purpose was to dominate world. Captain America said in a long tone. SHIELD gets funds from the government and raises funds from the public, so he will prove his achievements to the outside world and let those people understand one thing. Their funds are all used to uphold justice. However, everything like the Foundation is secretive, but they continue to use the name of protecting justice to collect all kinds of dangerous organizations. I never believe that they are simply protecting justice. In fact, what Captain America said was true. Jiang Bai did have his own selfish intentions in containing these anomalous objects, and the Foundation really had its own purpose in it. But the difference is that the Foundation is to contain abnormal objects. Once the Foundation accepts funding from the public or the country, the Foundation and the abnormal objects contained by the Foundation may be used by them to do something beneficial to them. But are these abnormal substances threatening, and will excessive use cause any unknown danger? Human beings who don't know enough about abnormal objects are completely ignorant. Therefore, the Foundation must maintain its independence and will never become the attachment of any country or people. It is for this purpose that the Foundation's existence is so disapproved. Because such a foundation is too dangerous, it is simply an uncontrollable existence. And this is just the Foundation's own position, and Jiang Bai's position is even simpler. Only by containing the abnormal objects can he be rewarded. The more rewards you get, the stronger and safer you are. How terrifying this world is, maybe others don't know, but Jiang Bai knows it all. Now there are at least 3 level godfathers outside, staring at me and the Foundation. As for this universe, there are other more dangers. Whether it is the gods of various latitudes, demon lords, or even the incarnation of the multi-universe itself, the 5 gods, as well as life courts, god groups, and the like. For these existences, a mere Earth can be wiped out in just a few seconds. Even the entire galaxy can be destroyed in just one thought. Living in such a world, how can Jiang Bai not think about his own life? So the most important thing for Jiang Bai is to survive, and the best way to survive is to contain abnormal objects. So Captain America is right to say that Jiang Bai has selfishness, because Jiang Bai's selfishness is to contain abnormal objects. Captain America, I will think about everything you said, but I will definitely go tomorrow. Banner looked at Captain America with a serious face. He has made a decision. No matter what attitude Captain America has in the future, he has to go there once. He wants to see with his own eyes. What kind of existence is the Foundation and Jiang Bai? You? Looking at Banner's serious appearance and listening to Banner's firm words, Captain America knew that what he said was useless. At this moment, Tony reached out and patted Captain America on the shoulder. Dr. Banner's decision may be right. We really can't just judge the Foundation and Jiang Bai as evil based on our own opinion. Tony smiled with some emotion, and then continued, At least they saved me back then, although I also gave money. Tony still remembers when Natasha Romanoff came to him. He thought it was a beautiful affair. But who knows, I actually asked for the money myself. However, Tony's sense of this is still very good. The other party only came to ask for their due reward, and did not continue to bother him afterwards. If it was SHIELD who saved me at that time, they would definitely come to me and try to get more benefits from me. Although money is just a number to Tony, he will still be very upset when he meets S.H.I.E.L.D. From this point of view, Tony's views on the Foundation are quite acceptable. Seeing that Tony and Dr. Banner, both companions, were speaking for the Foundation, Captain America wisely chose to keep his mouth shut. In any case, things are already doomed. Now he can only quietly wait for the result, that's all. On the other side, now the Red Right Hand. They have come outside. At this moment, Chitauri is also fighting against the monsters created by the blood pool with the human army. It's just that without the continuous reinforcements produced by the blood pool, the current monster army is obviously a little bit unable to stand up. But none of this has anything to do with the Red Right Hands, because now they have only one goal, and that is the 10,000 winged angel in the sky. The captain of the Red Right Hand looked up at the extremely arrogant Fong Xuantian who was still hunting in the sky, and couldn't help but complain. Haven't these people studied the intelligence of 10,000 winged angels, 947? That's why the captain of the Red Right Hand called Captain America an ignorant. So many people, all fighting near the 10,000 wings angel, constantly made huge amounts of noise. And these sounds not only provided food for Wani Angel, but also overactivated Wani Angel, which is why he is now hunting so frantically. In this short period of time, more than 1,000 people have been preyed on under normal circumstances. When encountering such a thing, they should have already started to study the action rules of Wani Angel, and found the information that Wani Angel is sensitive to sound waves. But they have already been paralyzed by various superheroes, thinking that they can rely on absolute power to solve them at any time, They have not considered these problems at all. They just blindly pour their firepower on Wani Angel, trying to kill Wani. Wing Angel was directly blasted into slag, but this is absolutely impossible to succeed. If Ancient One, Odin, and other level godfathers make a move, they may be able to kill 10,000 Wings Angel. But it is almost impossible to do this with the current human weapons. What's more, now that humans have allocated a considerable part of their troops to attack the monster army in the blood pool, it is even more impossible to do this. In the end, the most likely outcome was nuclear bombing New York. The nearly 100 million people and the whole of New York have been turned into dust. The Foundation does this sort of thing too, but it's almost always after a containment breach to ensure there's a bigger loss. Moreover, generally dangerous abnormal objects are contained in all remote places. Only now that Jiang Bai has a strong containment room, will the containment be placed in the Blue Ocean building. Now being dealt with like this by them, Wani Angel's strength has exceeded expectations, but the Red Right Hand did not choose to retreat. Although the containment may be more difficult than the previous plan, the result is still the same. As a member of Red Right Hand, they still have the confidence to contain Wani Angel. The captain with the Red Right Hand came in front of everyone, clenched his fist with one hand and raised it high. The current Wani Angel has far surpassed any previous records. This is a new challenge, but it is also time for us to prove ourselves. We are the last line of defense to guard the normal life of human beings from being interfered by unknown abnormalities. We control, we contain, and we protect. We control, we contain, we protect. Everyone in the Red Right Hand shouted the slogan of the Foundation and then set their sights on the Wani Angel in the sky. Target abnormal body, 469. The Red Right Hand team, start the containment operation.
The end.
Chapter 86. Although most of the attention of Chitauri and the human army is on the monsters created by these blood pools, Fury has always been staring at Wani Angel. It was this Wani Angel who killed Phil Coulson, who had always trusted Yojia's right-hand man. So at this moment, Fury can be said to be full of resentment towards Wani Angel. If it wasn't for his lack of strength, Fury would have killed Wani Angel by now. Now Fury is waiting for Captain America to stop the Foundation from containing the blood pool, and then come over and deal with Wani Angel together. But Captain America and the others didn't see it. Instead, they waited for the person with the red right hand. Although Fury hadn't seen people with red right hands before, just from their behavior, Fury already felt the same feeling as the Foundation members he picked up. That kind of toughness, like a long spear, stands upright and would rather bend than bend. This is an aura that Fury has never seen in other members of the organization. So with just one glance, Fury has already seen that the members of the Red Right Hand must be members of the Foundation. How could it be someone from the Foundation? Could it be? A possibility flashed through Fury's mind. Captain America lost again. SHIELD and his newly established Avengers lost yet again to Jiang Bai and his Foundation. Thinking of these, Fury felt panicked and extremely uncomfortable. At this time, Captain America and others also returned to Fury's side. As soon as he briefed them, Fury couldn't wait to ask, "What's the result? Over there at the blood pool?" Upon hearing this, Captain America and the others immediately darkened. Seeing this scene, Fury didn't continue to ask. Because he knew what Captain America's reaction meant, they lost again in this contest with the Foundation. And this time it was a complete defeat. Thinking about these things made Fury feel even more uncomfortable, and he always felt like a fire was suffocating in his heart, as if he was about to be ignited. The Foundation is stronger than we imagined. Tony and I were easily defeated by him this time. Even if Dr. Banner becomes the Hulk, he probably won't be their opponent. Captain America said he would not betray Dr. Banner. At least when it comes to doing this, he can still do it. Not a single word about Dr. Banner was mentioned the entire time, and Fury was so preoccupied with his failure at the moment that he didn't care about it. This time the Foundation has succeeded again. What are we working with the military for such a long time? When Fury thought of himself and the military, who sacrificed so much but didn't get any benefits in the end, and spent the whole time making wedding dresses for the Foundation, Fury was so angry that he trembled all over, almost vomited out a mouthful of old blood. At least we protected these people. At this time, Captain America definitely said to Fury as a matter of course, "If we choose to turn a blind eye, or put everything on the Foundation, how much will these people sacrifice?" SHIELD has never been an organization that exists to compete with the Foundation, and neither is Avengers. Our purpose is to uphold justice and save these innocent people who are threatened by evil forces. What Captain America said is very righteous. However, Fury looked at him with a strange face, and only after Captain America finished speaking, he nodded slowly. You are quite right. But even though Fury said so, everyone could see that Fury didn't take it seriously. Only Captain America. He believes that Fury, like himself, is a person who works hard for the country, the people, and justice. So he didn't suspect Fury. But watching this scene, both Tony and Dr. Banner couldn't help sighing in their hearts. After all, Captain America is the superhero of the previous era. His ideas and concepts seem to be out of touch with this era for too long, and it takes time to adapt. SHIELD is not the kind of existence he imagined at all. Although there are indeed similarities in some aspects, the actual SHIELD is just a violent institution. In addition to maintaining justice, he actually has many other things to deal with. For example, develop some powerful new weapons. But what are these weapons used for in the end? Who can tell clearly? Definitely for these words, neither of them mentioned to Captain America. If this superhero, who has worked hard and dedicated his whole life for world peace, really loses trust in the world because of this, or completely loses his belief in life, it is also a very sad thing. So both of them did not speak at the same time. But at this time, Captain America took something out of his pocket and handed it to Fury. It was a note, although it had been folded. But from the clearly visible handwriting lines on the back of the note, it can be seen that the person who wrote this note at that time should be very anxious. This is what Phil Coulson asked me to give you before he died. Fury looked at the note in Captain America's hand with a hint of doubt on his face, but he still reached out to take it, and at the same time asked nonchalantly, "What's written in it?" "I haven't seen it. Phil Coulson said it was for you." Fury is testing Captain America to see if he has peeked at the note. If it's a normal person, like a note from Tony or Dr. Banner to Fury, then Fury will definitely suspect that they have peeked at the above content. Even if they have already said that they have not read it, Fury will definitely doubt it. But Captain America is different. Since Captain America has been mentioned, I have not seen it. It should be that he really didn't peek at it. So Fury didn't continue to ask, but just opened the note and read it. But when he saw the content above, Fury's face immediately turned ugly. Without even thinking about it, he took out the lighter and burned the note. Captain America and the others also understood at this time that this note should have written something very important, otherwise Fury would not have reacted in this way. Not to mention burning the note immediately. But what was written on this note? The three of them were full of curiosity about this, but since Fury had already burned the note, it meant that the other party didn't want them to know. So they can only be silent. But at the moment they didn't say anything, they just watched all this quietly. Only Fury's mood at the moment was extremely complicated. Because the note Captain America handed over said one thing, Phil Coulson suspected that SHIELD had an inner ghost and told Fury to be careful. This should be Courson's plan to notify Fury after this incident is over. Because of the formation of Avengers, events such as SHIELD being invaded by Loki can just become the reason and help for Fury to investigate the interior of S.H.I.E.L.D. If there are really ghosts inside SHIELD, the Avengers, an organization formed entirely by Fury himself, can fully assist Fury to wipe out these ghosts. This is Phil Coulson's idea, and what he wrote down in the note. Fact. Looking at the handwriting on the note, and then thinking that I have known Phil Coulson for many years, I have already regarded Phil Coulson as a brother, but now Phil Coulson is dead like this, and the murderer who killed him is showing off his power above his head. I don't even have the strength to take revenge on the other party. Thinking of these things, Fury couldn't help but let out an angry curse, and then punched the electric pole beside him. Blood flowed down the electric pole and onto the ground, staining a large area red. But Fury didn't even hum. Now compared to the physical pain, his heart hurts the most. The death of Phil Coulson, and this message from Phil Coulson, all stuck like a needle in Fury's heart. His whole body was trembling uncontrollably, and big teardrops kept sliding down his face, dripping onto the ground, mixing with the blood flowing from his hands. Watching this scene, Captain America and the other three felt really uncomfortable. Especially Captain America. Phil Coulson is his ardent fan. Since Captain America woke up, Phil Coulson has been with Captain America all the time. He is the most familiar person after Captain America wakes up. Captain America's impression of Phil Coulson is also very good. But now Phil Coulson is dead, and in his presence. When they met Wani Angel for the first time, when Captain America and their plane were damaged by Wani Angel, Phil Coulson immediately wrote this note and asked Captain America to give it to Fury. Captain America didn't understand what Phil Coulson was trying to do. But now Captain America probably understood. Perhaps at that time Phil Coulson had already realized that he might not be able to escape this disaster. So he asked himself to hand the note to Fury for him. When I think of these Captain America, I feel even more uncomfortable. I keep saying that I want to protect justice and protect peace, but even his fans died in front of him, and he still has nothing to do. Thinking about himself as a superhero is really ridiculous. Although Fury was full of anger at the moment, he was also paying attention to everyone's reactions. Especially after seeing Captain America's painful and powerless appearance, I have probably understood it in my heart. Captain America should really have not peeked at this note. At the same time, Fury is also thinking, maybe he can let Captain America write his own cooperation? If there are really undercover agents in SHIELD, it is definitely not enough to rely on one's own strength, and in the end you have to rely on the strength of these superheroes. Among these superheroes, there is no doubt that Fury trusts Captain America the most. Therefore, Fury intends to discuss the specific details of this matter with Captain America after these matters are over. Take a good look inside S.H.I.E.L.D. As for Tony and Dr. Banner, those two guys Fury can't fully trust yet. So Fury wasn't going to tell them about it. Now we, the Avengers, who else can we go to seek revenge? While talking, Tony set his sights in the direction of the Stark Industrial Building. The constantly Chitauri army is still coming out of the portal there. Tony was not usually angry that his company was regarded as the base camp for aliens to invade the Earth. And now that Wani Angel has a foundation, it seems that the only thing he can do is go to Stark Industries to stop Loki. Loki is in that direction too. I'll go with you. Before Tony could move, he heard an unpleasant voice behind him. Thor also came to Tony's side at this moment. My mission in Midgard was to bring back Loki and the Tesseract, and now is the time. Although I don't like Thor very much, one more person now means more power. So Tony didn't say anything, but nodded, and then flew towards Stark Industry with Thor. You guys go too. Looking at this scene, Fury didn't expect to be able to snatch the anomalous object from the hands of the Foundation right now. As long as the chaos can be contained as soon as possible, promised to be good, more Fury is not expected. At least in this way, they SHIELD can be considered to have some contributions in this chaos. The Avengers are in action at the same time. Hong's right hand has basically controlled Wani Angel. In fact, Wani Angel is really an abnormal object that is relatively easy to deal with. Because all his actions depend on the sound waves, the red right hand only needs to create an absolutely quiet space to bring Wani Angel to a standstill. In a place where wars are fought, it may seem impossible to create a quiet space. But for reality benders, it couldn't be easier. The red right hand first used the power to distort reality to move all the people who were attacking Wani Angel to a distant place, and then eliminated all nearby sounds. No matter who it is, as long as his power is not stronger than level 3, he cannot make a sound in this area. Then the thaumaturgy created an enchantment, temporarily trapping Wani Angel inside. The last thing is to use a well-prepared, completely soundproof iron box on the outside of this enchantment to lock Wani Angel in. At this point, Wani Angel can be regarded as a complete success. Seeing that Wani Angel, who was still killing and hunting Chitauri and human beings as prey, is now contained so easily. It was literally a no-brainer. Everyone was dumbfounded immediately, even Ancient One, Odin and Thanos, who were watching closely here, looked at this scene with disbelief at this moment. Congratulations to the host for successfully containing the abnormal object, 4.69 million wings Angel, for receiving rewards. The end. Chapter 87. Odin and Ancient One saw clearly the process of how the Foundation subdued Wani Angel, but it was precisely because of this that they were full of surprises. In Asgard, Odin's one eye gazes upon all of Midgard. In the reflection of his pupils, the battle where Wani Angel was contained by the red right hand is constantly reappearing. The power of magic, but it seems to be different from normal magic. What kind of power are these people using? I don't even know it at all. Of course Odin was talking about the 5 reality benders. This almost omnipotent power that can distort reality according to one's own ideas and even rewrite the rules of the universe is indeed something Odin has never touched. Then it is as strong as Odin, who can tear the multi-universe with his own power and the overlord spanning 9 universes, but he has never seen such a power. Although in the movie, Odin's 9 worlds are actually just 9 planets. But in American comics, the 9 worlds of Odin are actually 9 universes. The 9 universes relying on the world tree are the 9 realms, and these 9 universes were conquered by Odin and became part of his Asgard. But even the scissors who have conquered the 9 realms, seen different universes, and different powers have never seen the power of a reality bender. So he was full of curiosity about it, but at the same time he was more sure of one thing. The Foundation is a universe from a deeper latitude, which was previously untouched by itself, the entire council of the Heavenly Father. And since the Foundation is so familiar with Wani Angel, it also shows that this Wani Angel is very likely to be in existence from the same world as the Foundation. Thinking of this, Odin probably already had an understanding of all of this in his mind. Ancient One, maybe I understand what the Foundation and those strange monsters are all about? You understand? Upon hearing Odin's words, Ancient One immediately voiced doubts. Before, Odin also said that he had never come into contact with a similar existence, but now he said he figured it out. This somehow made Ancient One a little puzzled. How did Odin figure out all this in such a short period of time? Understood. A trace of worry flashed in Odin's one-eyed eyes, and his tone gradually became serious. This Foundation and those monsters, as I said before, must have come from a universe that we have not come into contact with. You should also know that in the universes we have come into contact with in the past, they are more or less 080. There are a few things in common with our universe, but I suspect the universe the Foundation is in doesn't have those same things. It's a very different universe than ours. Though Odin has conquered 9 universes and has dabbled in many others. But in Odin's observations, these universes all have one thing in common. That is, these universes are all parallel universes, and the people and things that exist in this universe will more or less exist in that universe. It's just that their experiences and identities may be completely different. For example, Iron Man Tony, the super-rich second generation, may be just a beggar in another universe, and Captain America, the symbol of the beautiful country, may have died in the experiment of super serum long ago, and no one remembers. But no matter how it is changed, after all, that universe still has some similarities with this universe. This is the so-called parallel universe. But now there may be another situation, that is, it is used in some deeper latitudes. There may exist universes that are completely different from this universe, or even unrelated. And the Foundation comes from that universe, and the power they possess is completely different from this universe. This also explains why Odin and the others are completely ignorant of the power used by the Foundation, and why the Foundation is so familiar with monsters that do not belong to this universe. At this moment, on the roof of the Magician Holy Place in New York, Ancient One couldn't help showing a wry smile after hearing Odin's sound analysis. Originally, Ancient One thought that Odin had some important discovery to tell him, but he didn't expect it to be this. Odin, isn't it too late for these guesses? What's the meaning? Odin obviously hasn't figured out what does the Ancient One mean. In his opinion, he came to this conclusion after careful analysis. Didn't we already say that before? The Foundation should have come from a universe at a deeper latitude that we have never touched. Do you need to confirm this again? And why is it not necessary? It was just speculation before, but now it has been confirmed. And do you know how dangerous it is to set foot in the universe at deeper latitudes? Walking in this endless abyss, and finding a suitable one accurately the universe. Almost no one in the Council of the Father can do it. The Council of the Father, from among the universes, has been given oneness. Become a council composed of the only gods that exist in the universe. They will discuss and analyze each other, and decide some major events in the future. These gods are basically the gods in myths and legends on the earth, such as Odin in Norse mythology, Zeus in Greek mythology, etc. Because of their own powerful strength, they have been able to gather all the cells in the parallel universe in their bodies, making themselves the only one. And being able to do this qualifies to be called Heavenly Father. Odin's words were to tell Ancient One that the Foundation might be stronger than they had previously guessed. They, other powerhouses of the level God Father, can interfere with the multi-universe and freely travel back and forth in parallel universes. But they can hardly interfere with the deeper layers of the multi-universe. Those universes that have nothing to do with the universe they live in are almost all strange, and they use creatures that resist the universe that is not their own to enter. Even a father as strong as Odin cannot force his way into it. But now the Foundation is able to enter their own universe from their universe without their knowing, which means that the strength of the other party may still be higher than their Heavenly Fathers. Ancient One naturally understood this to the end. So after Odin said these words, Ancient One fell into silence for a while. He really didn't think about it. He was just thinking about the existence of the Foundation. Is it good or bad for this world? From the current point of view, this so-called Foundation is still a relatively moderate organization, and their various actions are mainly to protect human beings. Maybe we don't need to worry too much about them. It's not something I should be thinking about. I just want my sons to be okay. Odin is old. He is no longer the war lunatic who fought in the 9 realms and wanted to take everything for himself. Now he is just an old father who wants to cultivate his sons into talents and is dying. I'll keep an eye out. After hearing Odin's words, Ancient One was also silent for a while, and immediately coveted a satisfactory answer from Odin. Everyone doesn't want to make a big deal out of it. As an Asgardian on the Earth, what Ancient One wants is to protect the Earth from all evil forces. That's all. As for the Foundation, as long as it is confirmed that it is harmless to humans and the Earth, that's fine. Therefore, after the two of them had a simple conversation, they terminated the communication in the brain. No one is involved in this New York battle, but Thanos is not so calm at the moment. He also saw every move of the Foundation, and he, like Ancient One, deduced that the Foundation is in existence from a deeper universe. But for this result, Thanos is not as easy as Ancient One and the others. Interference from another universe? Why is there an existence from another universe interfering with my actions at this time? Thanos' face was rather ugly at the moment. As the premier licking dog in the entire multi-universe, everything Thanos does is to gain the favor of one of the 5 creation gods, the goddess of death. The goddess of death, Seth, made Thanos think that the balance of life and death in the universe was out of harmony, and in order to win Thanos, who was favored by the goddess of death, he embarked on a journey to conquer the universe. This is the so-called cosmic family planning work. For this reason, he decided to wipe out half of the life in the entire universe to please the goddess of death. And to do this, you must get the power of infinite gems. Now Thanos has basically been able to determine that at least 2 infinite gems are on Earth. Originally, Thanos wanted to get Tesseract first, which is the space gem. Then wait for these powerful but not very long-lived powerhouses on Earth to die, and then go to Earth to take all the remaining infinite gems for themselves. But who knows, now the first step has failed. And also found that the Earth seems to have another universe besides the strong ones he knows. This is one more object to be careful and a headache for Thanos. And it also means that there may be more surprises in Thanos' plan. This gave Thanos a headache, thinking that he might be farther away from his beloved goddess of death. Because of this, Thanos panicked for a while. No, I must think of a way to solve this problem. If there is really another universe interfering with my plan, then I must act in advance. As Thanos spoke, he set his sights on the Earth. If those powerhouses on Earth and the existence of my other universe can take away all the infinite gems before they notice, then naturally they won't have to worry about these problems. Thanos finally decides to take a gamble if necessary. Otherwise, he might really have no chance to win the favor of his beloved goddess of death. Congratulations to the host for successfully containing the abnormal object, 4.69 million wings angel, and was rewarded with a large base. Foundation Large-Scale Base. A large base located in Yellowstone Park, which contains a S-level researcher and 100 B-level researchers, a large-scale mobile task force, and tens of thousands of ordinary Foundation members. In addition, the abnormal object, 2000 mechanical descendant, is also among them. Jiang Bai never expected that the rewards this time would be so rich. Even with this, it is no longer rich enough to describe. This is equivalent to when drawing cards. Once others send 10 consecutive rounds, the double SSR is already regarded as the European Emperor, and your 10 consecutive rounds are all SSR. Anomalous Object 2000 is codenamed Mechanical Fallen. This is the trump card of the Foundation. In Foundation files, the automaton is an extremely powerful supercomputer. At the same time, it is also an existence that can change the world. In the vision of the Foundation, if one day all human beings are extinct for some reason, then the mechanical descendant will assume the responsibility of continuing the human fire. If the mechanical descendant is activated at full power, it can produce 100,000 human beings in one day, and give these human beings the necessary knowledge. At the same time, there are many subsystems in the Mechanic Goddess, all of which are top-notch science far beyond modern times. These include things like reality anchors, a technology that removes the influence of reality benders on reality. That is to say, it can be used to restrain the dangerous existence of reality benders. In addition, the Mechanic God has many extremely practical abilities, which can be said to be a well-deserved savior of the plot, and the Foundation's undoubted trump card exists. Definitely, Jiang Bai wouldn't be so excited if he just got the Mecha Goddess. But the key point is that, in addition to the mechanical descendant, there is also an S-level research talent. What does an S-level research talent mean? Apocalypse 4 Doctors. The 4 Doctors of Apocalypse, the soul of the entire Foundation. They are all figures who have made outstanding contributions to the Foundation, and it can even be said that the Foundation without the existence of the 4 Doctors of Apocalypse is an incomplete Foundation. They are the most in-depth research on anomalous objects, and the existence with the most understanding. Being able to get any one of them means that he will get a powerful and terrifying boost. Jiang Bai immediately clicked on the detailed information of this S-level research talent and looked at it. Dr. Kondraki, a person who likes photography and the study of anomalies, but has no education in either area, who is rude and likes violent, accompanied by the abnormal object, 408 codenamed Phantom Disc, and he is very good at using abnormal objects to fight. He is a well-known madman and lunatic. It's him? As soon as Jiang Bai saw Dr. Kondraki's name, he couldn't help showing a wry smile. No way. Although the 4 doctors of Apocalypse are unreasonable existences. But this one is even more important. There is one instance in the Foundation's archives of a mission performed by Dr. Kondraki to execute an anomaly, 083D vampire codenamed Duke. In that mission, Dr. Kondraki actually rode 682 under him, held a Western sword to fight the Duke, and finally used the abnormal object, 298, to suck blood. The pipe organ reduced the Duke to ashes. But at the same time, that operation also destroyed almost the entire base, and the casualties were even more numerous. I didn't expect it to be this lunatic. Jiang Bai couldn't help shaking his head when he thought of Dr. Kondraki, but after thinking about it, it seemed like a good thing. After all, Dr. Kondraki is also an avid fan of the weaponization of abnormal objects. With him, maybe his Pandora's Box project will go smoothly. But now I have one more thing to do. While talking, Jiang Bai drove straight to Sure Stark Industry. Of course, he will never forget Loki and Tesseract. The end. Chapter 88. On the Stark Industries building. Loki was gloomy at the moment, looking at the Avengers in front of him. Why? Before they could speak, Loki yelled at them excitedly. Thor, why do you want to be my enemy? And you lowly mortals, I am a god. How dare you make enemies of gods? It's nothing new that Loki looks down on humans. In other words, in Loki's eyes, he is the only one, and everyone else is an ant, a lowly existence. So he didn't look down on these people at all. But despite looking down on them, Loki can't change the fact that he is now surrounded by Avengers. Chitauri's army didn't listen to Loki's dispatch at all, and all ran to deal with the monsters created by the blood pool. Now Loki can't do anything alone. Surrounded by the Avengers, failure has become a foregone conclusion. But even so, Lu Ji was still not reconciled. I am not reconciled to failing like this, and I am not reconciled to having such an excellent plan, such a perfect start, to fail like this. But now even if there is more unwillingness, it can't change this fact. Loki, he still failed after all, and failed quite tragically. Loki, now that you have lost, you should honestly go back with me. Father will forgive you. Although Thor doesn't like Loki very much, he often even does things to the roadbed. But that's mostly because Loki teased him first. In fact, Thor still has a lot of affection for Loki. In the eyes of this big fool, Loki is still his younger brother after all, and a family whose blood is thicker than water. And Thor actually doesn't have any idea about the position of King of Asgard. If Loki really wants it, he doesn't mind letting Loki take this position. But unfortunately, he didn't know one thing. That's who Loki really is, and Loki is not a son of Odin. So this is doomed. Loki cannot become the king of Asgard. Loki looked at Thor, who until now still had stupid ideas, knew nothing but had everything, and the fire of jealousy in his heart began to gnaw at his sanity. Thor, you idiot. You are a stupid idiot. But why can an idiot like you have the approval of your father? But you can easily get everything that I can't get? Loki is not reconciled to being shrouded in Thor's light. He also wants to be recognized by Odin. In his opinion, Thor is a fool, just a stupid big man. But since childhood, Odin has been full of kindness and recognition for Thor, but there is always an inexplicable gap for himself. Originally, Loki thought that this might be because he was not as strong as Thor, and he did not have as strong a combat power as Thor. But Thor is just a fool. He has nothing but strength. He doesn't have enough wisdom, and he doesn't have the potential to control this power. And all of these are clearly available. So Loki began to target everywhere, alienate Thor, trying to let Thor mess up all this, and let Odin know that only he is the real perfect candidate for the king of Asgard. But in the end, all his plans fell through inexplicably, and instead, Thor pushed himself into a desperate situation step by step. But now Loki suddenly has a new guess. Will everything he does be in Odin's eyes? Odin has actually seen through all this, but Odin has never said it clearly, but is helping Thor behind his back. Because he is giants of Jotunheim, he is not the son of Odin, and he does not have the blood of the Asgard royal family. Thinking of this, Loki's hostility and hatred towards Thor deepened. He can't wait to tear Thor into pieces now, but he also knows that he is not Thor's opponent. If you want to defeat Thor, it is not enough to rely on yourself. But now the allies I have found are unwilling to help me. This made Loki even more impulsive, paranoid, and crazy. Why? Why do you always get everything that others can't get easily? Why? Loki was almost gnashing his teeth and questioning Thor. He didn't understand that instead of relying on the power of Asgard, he found an ally with a force that had nothing to do with Asgard, nor with the Nine Realms. And I have already planned everything, but why did I fail in the end? And failed so thoroughly? Looking at Loki's crazy look, listening to his questioning, Thor was silent. He didn't know how to answer Loki, because at the end of the day, the reason they were able to defeat Loki so easily was entirely on the Foundation. If it wasn't for the fact that the Foundation contained the two huge amounts of troubles, Bloodpool and Wani Angel, then they are still struggling with how to deal with these two dangerous existences. There simply won't be time for Loki. Loki, you've already lost, and that's enough. Seeing Loki's extreme and crazy appearance, Thor couldn't bear it for a while. After all, this is his younger brother, the younger brother he grew up with. Although a bit naughty, he is still his younger brother and his relatives after all. So Thor still wants to let Loki be captured without any hands as much as possible. But now Thor overestimated his mouth, and the first sentence directly annoyed Loki. Losing. Loki looked at Thor with excitement and anger, and yelled, "No, I will never lose." Saying that, Loki held up his heart scepter. You all kneel down. The essence of the Mind Scepter is actually one of the infinite gems owned by Thanos, the Mind Gem. This time Thanos didn't know what the wind was, and he actually lent Loki the scepter of his mind. However, Loki will not use the power of the Psychic Scepter. It is only used as a means of forcing others to obey him. At this moment, Loki wants to use the power of the Psychic Scepter to force Thor and the others to kneel down to him. He wants to prove that he is stronger than Thor and the others. He is the real king. Indeed, under the power of the Psychic Scepter, Thor and the others all felt a kind of dominating their bodies, even their souls, forcing them to act safely under Loki's orders. But this power is not absolute, and it is not that they must obey and obey. Fury was just an ordinary person. The moment he was controlled by the power of the Psychic Scepter, he knelt down directly. Tony and Captain America were just struggling, looking like they might drop to their knees at any moment. But after all, they haven't really kneeled down yet, and Thor and Banner didn't move at all. Although most of their strength was restrained by the power of the Psychic Scepter, they couldn't attack Loki. Nor did Loki really kneel down because of the power of the Psychic Scepter. This made Loki even more angry. Why? Why don't you kneel down? Loki roared at Thor like a beast that wanted to eat people. Aren't Psychic Scepters able to control others? Why now? Except for that useless mortal, no one else kneels down to himself. Why? At this moment, Loki is completely a red-eyed gambler. In his eyes, there is no reason anymore. He just wants to win, beat Thor, and prove to everyone that he is the best. But no matter what he does, it seems that he can't really surpass Thor and become the most fishy. Loki, stop. Come back to Asgard with me. Father and Queen are waiting for you to go back. Thor still tried to persuade Loki, and at the same time a series of lightning flashed on his body, helping him break through the control of the Psychic Scepter. With the power of Mind Gem, it is actually easy to control Thor. But Loki doesn't understand the usage of the Psychic Scepter. He is just squandering the power of the Psychic Scepter roughly, that's all. So naturally it is difficult to control Thor, who is stronger than himself and the Hulk. After breaking free from Loki's control, Thordan even wanted to step forward and grab Loki. The most important thing now is to control Loki first, and then bring him back to Asgard and hand him over to his father. Seeing Thor getting closer and closer to him, Loki's magical power became more and more violent. Although Loki is not Thor's opponent in frontal combat, it does not mean that Loki is weak. He just doesn't like to use this rough fighting method. Even Thor would have to go to some lengths to defeat Loki outright if necessary. Thor also felt the huge magical power emanating from Loki, and he knew that Loki wanted to fight back. It will push Loki to this point, which actually means that Loki has no other way now. So instead of worrying, Thor was relieved. This shows that his scheming younger brother has no other choice now. Seeking Flowers 0 as long as Loki's scheme is solved and Loki's own combat power remains. No matter how difficult it is still possible to solve it. So immediately Thor covered his whole body with the power of thunder, intending to grab Loki directly to avoid complications. However, just when Thor had made all the preparations, he he grabbed the empty space. Loki disappeared? This? Thor looked at his hands, and then at the empty, stark industrial building in front of him. Where are the Loki people? Could it be that he was deceived by Loki again? This possibility immediately flashed through Thor's mind, but thinking carefully about Loki's appearance just now, it should be really at the end of his rope, so someone must have taken Loki away. But who could it be? Is it the mysterious force behind Loki? Or? A very bad guess flashed through Thor's mind. If he could, he'd rather be tricked by Loki than Loki falling into the hands of those people. Anyway, it's not the first time I've been cheated by Loki. I've already gotten used to it. But if Loki really falls into the hands of those people, what will happen in the future is really uncertain. Is this the Psychic Scepter? Inside Stark Industries, Jiang Bai is holding the Psychic Scepter up and down. As one of the infinite gems, the Psychic Scepter does carry a power that can control people's hearts. Just looking at the Mind Scepter, Jiang Bai will feel a strange magic power trying to control his heart. Unfortunately, you seem to be a bit unqualified to play with the coup department. Jiang Bai smiled slightly, and the mark of the old one flashed across the back of his hand. Horror. Despair. There is an inexplicable horror in the evil that emanates from Jiang Bai's body. At this moment, Loki, who was controlled by the red right hand, seemed to see an evil god hiding in the endless abyss, staring at him. The endless terror almost swallowed Loki almost instantly. Fortunately, Loki is also a god, and he will not be swallowed up by the pollution of restraint in an instant like ordinary people. And Jiang Bai's target just now is not Loki, but the heart in his hand. Spirit Scepter. After all, Loki is Odin's appearance. Jiang Bai can guarantee that Odin is still watching all this from above. If he really turned Loki into his subordinate, Odin would definitely rush over to fight him desperately. It may be difficult for the current Foundation to fight against a heavenly father. However, under the erosion of Jiang Bai's mark of the Old Master, the Psychic Scepter has become Jiang Bai's property, and Jiang Bai also roughly knows how to use the Psychic Scepter in this way. Immediately, Jiang Bai raised the Psychic Scepter, and a ray of light flew out from the Psychic Scepter, directly punched a big hole in Stark Industry, and then shot into the portal. The portal connecting the Earth with the Chitauri fleet began to slowly close. Avengers, who was still at a loss because of Loki's disappearance and didn't know what to do, was shocked when he saw this scene. They naturally don't think that the portal was closed because Loki's conscience found out, which must have been done by the person who took Loki away. And the person who can take Loki away and still do this kind of thing can figure out who it is with his toes. Foundation. Thor sighed deeply. The last thing he wanted to see finally happened. Loki has really fallen into the hands of the Foundation. When Thor thought of this, he felt a burst of boredom in his heart. The Foundation does not need other forces. From their appearance to the present, Thor doesn't know much about the Foundation. But one thing Thor knows very well, that is, the Foundation is dangerous. The thought of Loki falling into their hands filled Thor with a wave of worry. God knows how the self-proclaimed Asgardian Foundation will treat Loki, an existence that threatens the safety of the Earth. At this time, the portal has been completely closed. As soon as Tesseract appeared, just like Loki, it disappeared directly in front of their eyes. At this moment, in the Stark Industry, Jiang Bai looked at the Tesseract and the scepter handed to him by the red right hand and nodded in satisfaction. 2 local containment objects, no, it should be 3. As Jiang Bai said, he set his eyes on Loki. Loki, let's change to a better place. As Jiang Bai spoke, he gave Captain Red Right Hand a look, and immediately the group of them disappeared inside Stark Industry.
The end.
Chapter 89. New York, Foundation Division. Loki is like a prisoner, locked in a separate transparent small room. Other than that, no other restrictions are imposed on Loki. Logically speaking, such a thing would never be able to trap Loki, but now it really traps Loki. And not only was it trapped, it even prevented Loki from exerting any of his strength. I can't feel the existence of magic power at all. What's going on here? Loki tried to use magic, but it didn't work at all. As the best magician on the bright side of Asgard, the #1 magician who will be entangled in the future, magic has always been Loki's biggest reliance. Relying on magic, Loki has played Thor and other superheroes more than once, and even Odin has been deceived by Loki's magic. But now, in this small cell, Loki can't feel the power of magic. What the hell is going on here? For the first time in his life, Loki felt truly flustered. All along, Loki has the confidence to overcome the past no matter what happens to him. Even when Loki was surrounded by Avengers and Stark Industries before, he didn't completely lose confidence. because Loki knows he still has a chance. Even if he loses this time, Thor will not kill him, but send him back to Asgard. As long as he returns to Asgard, Loki is confident that he will have a chance to make a comeback. Because he is also Asgard's leading magician, he can also use his magic and wisdom to find opportunities. But now, 987 has sealed all his magic in this weird place. I completely lost the power to resist. Just like a fish on the chopping board, life and death are all at the thought of others. This taste is not good. In contrast, Loki would even rather return to Asgard with Thor. At least in Asgard, he would be imprisoned at most, and his life would definitely not be in danger. But it's different here. Just when Loki was worried, a person slowly came to him. Just outside, across the wall from Loki, sat down. Congratulations to the host for successfully containing the space gem, and the reward SAN value is 10,000. Congratulations to the host for successfully containing Mind Gem, and get a reward of 10,000 SAN value. Congratulations to the host for successfully containing Loki, the god of tricks, and get a reward of 3,000 SAN. Looks like Loki isn't worth much. Or Infinite Gems has 10,000 SAN value, but Loki is only 3,000? But if you think about it a little bit, it's actually normal. With 5 Infinite Gems and Infinity Gauntlet together, Thanos is basically the existence of the highest level of divinity. A character who can wrestle with the 5 creation gods. This Infinite Gems is worth 10,000 SAN value, which is reasonable. In contrast, Loki's role in Marvel is slightly more important, but it is not irreplaceable, and his strength is also average, worth 3,000 SAN, because of the weight of the plot he occupies later. However, I really didn't expect that the containment of local anomalous objects would actually give you a SAN value. This is Jiang Bai's first time to contain an anomalous object in the Marvel multi-universe. Originally, he thought that it might be the same as containing other anomalous objects, rewarding some things that the Foundation universe already has. But now that I think about it carefully, it makes sense. The Marvel multi-universe has nothing to do with the Foundation multi-universe. To contain the abnormal objects of the Marvel multi-universe is definitely not possible to get the multi-universe of the Foundation. So the final result is naturally to get the currency and SAN value that can be used in the exchange store. If we look at it this way, the benefits of containing the abnormal objects of the Marvel multi-universe are actually not as good as containing the abnormal objects of the multi-universe of the Foundation. For example, the large base to accommodate one Angel, plus supporting personnel. In the exchange store, it is worth 60,000 SAN. That is to say, if the SAN value is used to exchange, Jiang Bai has to collect all 6 Infinite Gems. But now it is obtained only by taking in one Angel. From this point of view, it is obvious that it is more cost-effective to contain the anomalous objects of the Foundation's multi-universe. But if you want to exchange for some specific things, such as 343, which Jiang Bai has been dreaming of for a long time, then it is also an option to use and contain some of the Marvel multi-universe own abnormal objects. It is still necessary to be cautious about spreading the belief of restraint on the Earth, and not to be too hasty, so it seems that it is necessary to contain some local anomalies in the Marvel multi-universe. The faith of the Great Old Lord is sure to spread. But Jiang Bai's plan is to take his time, and the target is mainly some important people. If it spreads indiscriminately on the Earth, wouldn't it be the kind of containment that the Foundation resists? So in this regard, Jiang Bai's plan is to come little by little. It is best to spread it on a large scale to other worlds in the future. But also because of this, Jiang Bai's current SAN value is not enough. Now the local anomaly that houses Marvel is the SAN value of the reward, which can just solve the urgent need. So Jiang Bai immediately put the plan of containing the local anomalous objects on the agenda. Definitely these are things for later. The most important thing right now is the one inside. Loki, god of trickery, I've come to make a deal with you. Jiang Bai looked at Loki, who was separated by a wall, and said with great interest, "Trade?" Hearing this familiar word, Loki immediately became a little interested. In myths and legends, Loki is a god who likes to trade. It's just that his transactions are of the kind of fraudulent nature, and he will always deceive others to do something, or sign some contracts that cannot be completed. In short, he has done what the demons in the Western Hell did. A guy who is pure and innocent. Although in the Marvel multi-universe, Loki's identity is somewhat different from the mythology. But the fact that he likes to trade has not changed much. So after hearing Jiang Bai talk about the deal, he immediately became interested. Yes, I want you to join my upcoming mobile task force, Pandora's Box. Marvel's Loki isn't very good at fighting, but it's pretty good so far. And he's smart enough, though not very wise. But cleverness is definitely enough. As a member of Pandora's Box, there is no problem in completing some tasks together. Especially after Jiang Bai plans to include Abel and Cain in it. When the two brothers meet, some troubles will inevitably erupt. Loki can also neutralize it and avoid any big troubles. There is also the Hulk who will come to see him tomorrow, and the initial Pandora's Box team is considered complete. You want me to surrender to you? Loki never thought that Jiang Bai came to recruit him. Immediately Loki refused without even thinking about it. Although I have been captured now, I am still the Prince of Asgard, a god. How could I submit to you, a little mortal? Loki is undoubtedly an arrogant god. He exudes a kind of disdain for other people from the bottom of his heart, and Thor, who usually grew up with him, is just a stupid big brother in Loki's eyes. So it is absolutely unacceptable for him to surrender to Jiang Bai. So Loki refused Jiang Bai immediately. But Jiang Bai is not surprised by this. It seems that he has already prepared for it. Isn't what you expect to surpass Thor? I think you have a general understanding of our foundation. Do you think it is easier to achieve this goal with me, or is it easier for you to succeed alone? Loki is a smooth ****. As long as you find the right position, you can easily handle it. Just like now, after hearing what Jiang Bai said, Loki also fell silent. He was also thinking about Jiang Bai's words. What kind of existence is the foundation? Lu Ji is not clear. But Loki has already seen the strength of the foundation. He can solve the troubles that even the Chitauri army can't solve so easily, and he also has such weird means. The strength of the foundation should not be too weak. If I can use them, maybe I can really get rid of Thor. Loki's first thought was not to surrender to Jiang Bai. Instead, use Jiang Bai in this way, using the power of the foundation. Jiang Bai saw through Loki's little thoughts at a glance. But Jiang Bai doesn't care, because he also knows that this is Loki's usual style. Loki never really has a heart-to-heart with a person. Everything he does is to achieve his own goals, and for this he will use everything and everyone he can. It's just that Loki also overlooked one thing. Some things can't be used just by using them. Once provoked, it is very likely that it will end up in a situation where the upper body is provoked. For example, choosing to cooperate with Thanos is a completely wrong decision. And wanting to use the foundation is another even more wrong idea. So in Jiang Bai's view, the foundation is like a big net. When someone has disputes with the foundation, they will be wrapped more and more tightly by this net. Unless the foundation is willing to let you go, the final result will basically be to become deeply trapped and unable to extricate yourself. Loki is the same. The foundation has never been afraid of someone trying to use them, because while they are using the foundation is also using them. And when Loki sees the mysterious and strange power of the foundation, is he really willing to leave? No one wants to be a fool kept in the dark, especially a person like Loki who claims to be smart and extraordinary. So when he proposed this deal, Jiang Bai had already settled for Loki. What do I need to do? Loki thought for a long time, but finally he was tempted. Because he has no other choice now, is it possible that he will be imprisoned in this prison until he dies? This powerful containment room obtained by Jiang Bai can suppress the power of all contained objects. After Loki was imprisoned, he immediately lost all power. Let him continue to be imprisoned in this kind of place, he might as well die. So Loki could only choose to agree to Jiang Bai, at least get out of this place first, and then talk about other things. It's very simple. I'll let you and others form a team. Your task is to work together to capture some existences like the myriad wings angel. The huge amounts of wings? Upon hearing this, Loki's voice suddenly rose. No way, Loki is really too impressed with Wani Angel. Even Thor can't defeat it with a full blow, and he can recover quickly the monsters that come over. Loki really doesn't know how to defeat them? Even after the Red Right Hands took Wani Angel into custody in the end, Loki was still in a daze, wondering how they did all this? That one is called Anomaly 469, codenamed Wani Angel, and it's a type of anomaly. Jiang Bai probably explained to Loki what kind of existence the abnormal object is. Just as Jiang Bai expected, after learning about the existence of abnormal objects, Loki became very curious almost immediately. An abnormality is an existence that he has never heard of or seen. But precisely because of this, it also means that a whole new kind of knowledge is being placed in front of Loki. This intrigues Loki. As a self-proclaimed intelligent man, Loki has always had an interest in knowledge. And he also heard another possibility from the introduction of these abnormal objects. If you operate properly, you may be able to use these abnormal objects as weapons, use them to eliminate Thor, and even help yourself become the Lord of Asgard. The idea of becoming the King of Asgard seems to have taken root in Loki's mind, reminding and stimulating Loki all the time. But even so, Loki still didn't agree, but asked Jiang Bai the last out. Last question, you say? Loki hesitated for a while, and then asked tentatively, didn't you think that I might betray you after taking advantage of your foundation? Thought about it. Jiang Bai nodded without hesitation. And I am sure that you are planning all of this now. Then you. Just when Loki was about to ask Jiang Bai, why did you still recruit yourself? He saw that Jiang Bai in front of him seemed to have changed in an instant. The shadow behind Jiang Bai seemed to be stretched out at this moment, like an endless abyss, like a boundless darkness. At this moment, Jiang Bai also turned into an indescribable and strange evil god that cannot be seen directly. Do you think I care?
The end.
Chapter 90. After Jiang Bai finished speaking, he returned to his original appearance, and all the darkness and terror dissipated at this moment. But the shock and fear that landed in Loki's heart made him unable to recover for a long time. He only felt that at the moment when Jiang Bai changed, he seemed to have seen an extremely terrifying existence, and just seeing this existence a little bit, Loki felt that it was difficult for him to breathe. It's like being strangled by that damn Thor. It's extremely painful. It seemed that in front of Jiang Bai, he was just like an ant, who could be crushed to death whenever he wanted. It should also be that Loki seems to understand why Jiang Bai said that he doesn't care if he betrays him. Because with the strength Jiang Bai displayed at this moment, if he really had any ideas, he could really easily kill himself. The kind that can be done in just an instant. So after thinking about this, Loki immediately calmed down. He knew that once he boarded Jiang Bai's thief ship, it would not be so easy to leave. Think about it. Should I be locked up here forever like this? Or choose to join my Pandora's box? Jiang Bai puts these two options in front of Loki, but it's actually a choice. No one wants to be imprisoned forever, so Loki has only one choice. That is to promise Jiang Bai. Definitely if Loki really had the guts to choose to be locked up here forever, Jiang Bai might still look up to Loki. If Loki really chose this way, it would really exceed Jiang Bai's expectations. It's just that Loki is Loki after all. He gave the answer after hesitation for a while. I promise you, but can I really get a chance to surpass Thor from you? Loki was actually a little skeptical about that. Foundation is strong, but will Foundation 12 really help itself? Will he really train himself to be stronger than Thor? You must know that Thor is the son of Odin. Thor has the blood of his father, and his future potential is absolutely limitless. So even Loki himself is skeptical about the fact that he can really surpass Thor. You may not have confidence in yourself, but you should have confidence in our foundation. Jiang Bai looked confident. Loki is a magician, and will even become the #1 magician in the 9 realms in the future. His ability in magic is unquestionable, and when Jiang Bai redeems the International Comprehensive Thaumaturgy Center, Loki will be able to learn the power of thaumaturgy. This evolutionary version of magic, which is far more industrialized and more direct than magic, will bring completely different changes to Loki. Possessing the Foundation's thaumaturgy and Marvel's magic, it is not a problem for Loki, who has 2 powers, to surpass Thor. It's just that the premise of all this is that Jiang Bai has to exchange for the International Comprehensive Thaumaturgy Center. But when I go back to redeem this International Comprehensive Thaumaturgy Center, I don't know. At least for now, Jiang Bai has no such plan, nor does he have the capital. After all, this is a SAN value of more than 100,000, and it is not enough to collect all 6 infinite gems. So at present, Loki basically has to work for Jiang Bai first. I hope you can do what you say. Loki didn't bother too much about what to do with this matter, because he knew it was useless. Since Jiang Bai has already said so, he can only choose to believe Jiang Bai. Otherwise, what else can be done? Now if he dares to say he regrets it, Jiang Bai can drag him out and cremate him now. Okay, then you rest inside for 2 days first, and I will find all the teammates under you. No. When Loki heard this, he immediately became impatient. I've said so much. Don't I just want you to let me out now? In the end, not only did you not let me go out, but you let me continue to stay here, right? Loki wanted to ask Jiang Bai to let him go, but after Jiang Bai said these words, he turned and left. Now Loki has no chance at all. He can only watch Jiang Bai turn and leave, feeling in his heart that he has been cheated. But it's too late to say anything now. Some Italians have to bow their heads under the eaves. In the end, Loki could only lie obediently on the bed, quietly waiting for Jiang Bai to come and let him go. Don't tell me, there is a bed here, and it's quite soft. Loki can only have fun now. On the other side, Jiang Bai also came in front of the second goal. A veritable anomaly, a guy who, not so long ago, turned upside down the whole of New York and made SHILD ashamed. Anomaly, 076, Abel. Under the leadership of Dr. Liner, Jiang Bai went all the way to the deeper part of the strong containment room. A huge amounts of black rock cube appeared in front of Jiang Bai. This is Abel, or the mystery book that wraps Abel. As for what this object is, the original Foundation itself has not researched it. Only one side of the cube is known, is a gate locked by chains, and the key cannot be found. On the other side is a coffin. After death, Abel will be resurrected in the coffin, and then after a period of deep sleep, he will finally wake up. It can be said that as long as there is a coffin, Abel is the real regenerative healing factor. No matter what method is used, the job will be killed. He can be resurrected through this coffin, which is why Abel is so dangerous in the Foundation's files. Go and call the captain of Hammerfell, as well as Kane. Since you want Abel to be a member of Pandora's box, you must be prepared. The captain of the Hammerfell team who killed Abel, and his big brother Kane. These two people must be present. Kane and Captain Hammerfell soon arrived at Jiang Bai's side. It's just that when they saw this black rock cube, the two of them had completely different reactions. Captain Hammerfall immediately took a step forward, protecting Jiang Bai behind him. Kane turned around and wanted to leave, but was stopped by Jiang Bai. Kane, do you really count as meeting your brother? When Jiang Bai formed Pandora's box this time, he never expected to fail and give up the plan like the original Foundation did. So Jiang Bai planned to let Kane, who is the strongest defense, join his E. And besides the strongest defense, Kane also has a powerful ability. That is, Kane has a strong sense of reason and the ability to have a long-term memory. In the original Foundation, he is generally used as a humanoid USB flash drive. But Jiang Bai felt that Kane had another use, which was to record all the details of the battlefield. The members of Pandora's box, because they are all abnormal objects, are extremely dangerous existences. Therefore, Jiang Bai believes that for these existences, he should formulate a set of strict record system. And the first link of this system is Kane. Kane was able to record the actions of everyone in Pandora's box, and then report it to the Foundation, which then analyzed the situation of the members of Pandora's box to determine whether they might have escaped or lost control. President Jiang, I personally think that it is best for us not to meet. Cain and Abel are twins recorded in the Bible. Cain killed Abel out of jealousy, becoming the first murderer in the Bible. As a result, he was cursed by God and became an immortal monster who had to suck blood for a living. Although this is a fairy tale, and Cain in reality is not a vampire. But even if there is such a fairy tale, it seems that the relationship between Cain and Abel should not be very good, or even hostile. For all Cain would say, they'd better not meet. But Jiang Bai didn't care about it at all. Instead, he said to Cain, "You can't hide from him all the time, can you? Now you two brothers are with me, but you haven't met each other. Don't you think not quite right?" Jiang Bai's words silenced Cain. Indeed, he did not hide from Abel all his life. Especially now that he and Abel are both here at the Foundation, sooner or later they will meet one day. Rather than being caught off guard at that time, it is better to solve everything now. Maybe that would be a little less troublesome. With such thoughts in mind, Cain finally nodded to Jiang Bai. All right then, just listen to the president. Okay, then prepare to open the coffin. In fact, Abel had already been resurrected in the sarcophagus, but he had been locked inside and could not come out. Although he was not locked anymore, the power of the strong containment room was suppressing him, preventing him from coming out. Therefore, since Abel was taken into custody last time, he really hasn't come out. Following Jiang Bai's order, a mechanical arm slowly descended from the sky, grabbed the top cover of the sarcophagus, and then slowly opened the sarcophagus. At the moment when the sarcophagus was opened, Abel, who was sleeping inside, rushed out immediately. And after Abel saw the people outside, he fell into a rage almost instantly. Cain! Abel roared and rushed towards Cain as if he had seen his father, an enemy, killed. With just a slight pull of his hand in front of him, a long spear has already appeared in his hand. Jiang Bai didn't know much about Abel's ability before, but since he came into contact with a reality bender, Jiang Bai now finds that Abel's ability is very similar to a reality bender. It's just that the reality bender directly distorts reality and creates what he wants out of thin air, while Abel took the weapon out of another space. This kind of operation is a bit like pocket space. If you use Longuishinxia to make a comparison, it is a storage bag or a Simuru ring. Cain has absolute physical defense and anti-injury. Even if Abel really attacked Cain, it was just hurting himself for no reason. Jiang Bai didn't want Abel, who just woke up, to go back to lie in the sarcophagus for a few hours. So after seeing Abel's actions, Jiang Bai immediately said to Captain Hammerfell, "Stop him." Boom! The moment Jiang Bai's order sounded, Captain Hammerfell, who had been prepared for a long time, shot Abel's gun without even thinking about it. All of a sudden, Abel's spear was knocked crookedly, and it passed by Kane's side, but did not hit Kane. 863 As long as Kane was not hit, Abel would not be retaliated. Abel, before you go crazy, don't get to know the person who killed you first. There is only one kind of person who can interest Abel. Warrior. A warrior who can be recognized by Abel has a strong combat power and a warrior soul. And Captain Hammerfell is such a person. So after hearing Jiang Bai's words, Abel immediately turned his head to look at Captain Hammerfell. Kane and a real fighter, good. Abel looked. Captain Hammerfell looked at Kane again and said, "That's right. Let me kill both of you right here." Seeing Abel's murderous look, Kane should turn his head to look at Jiang Bai and shrugged helplessly. "Look, the president, I said a long time ago. He saw that I was only going crazy. It's just a road." Jiang Bai knew that Abel had hatred for Kane, and that Abel was bloodthirsty and violent. But Jiang Bai didn't expect to have reached such a serious point. This is a bloodthirsty lunatic? Fortunately, this is a smart madman. He has not completely lost his mind, and he can still communicate with him. "Abel, I am the president of the Foundation, and now you and Kane are under my jurisdiction. Are you the king?" Abel didn't have a good face towards Jiang Bai, and even his eyes were full of killing intent. His logic is like this: once he meets a human being, he will go berserk and try to kill him. For other animals, plants, and other life, there is no threat. It can be said that Abel is an existence dedicated to killing deadmans. If the target was a warrior with lofty qualities, perhaps Abel's attitude could be a little better, but Jiang Bai was obviously not among them. An existence like Jiang Bai, who sits at a high place and directs the overall situation, is actually no different from ordinary human beings in Abel's view. He will respect only fighters. As for other human beings, no matter what their abilities or strengths, he will not have any favorable impressions. It can be understood in this way. Jiang Bai nodded, and then continued to say to Abel, "Abel, I would like to invite you to join my Pandora's Box project to become the first batch of the Foundation to be completely composed of anomalous objects. Formed mobile task force. In it, you can meet many powerful opponents to satisfy your desire to fight. How about it?" Abel stood there and looked at Jiang Bai, and then his face suddenly changed. The whole person turned into a black shadow, stretched directly towards Jiang Yu, and rushed over. "You can beat me. Let's talk." The end.
Thanks for watching. You can find the next videos in the playlist linked in the info card, directly on my channel, or right here on the screen. And as always, if you have any feedback, feel free to share it in the comments too.